Check, check, check.
Can you feel it? Nothing can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what? On this here rhyme. I like the style, I'm staying for a while. It helps me show cats that I'm versatile. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile. I'll make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style or pimped out style. You don't understand the logic. See if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. It might tickle for a second, but it won't bleed. So just relax, just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just entertainment relax. At the same time, edutainment. In other words, you could call it vent. What I'm saying is that I'm here at your service. It's hard work, but then again, I deserve this. I'm helping people enjoy their spare time. I'm like an instructor when I'm doing my rhyme. Relax and just hear the dope track. It's really not all that, it's not like a gag. We like that when everything is relaxed and chill. You don't have to get fucked up or take pills, cause I like being myself, it feels good. Yo, it makes my meals taste good. 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 So just relax. Here's your dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax. My mind state, now balloon, it won't inflate. Just take the buzz, this much wiser kid, fuck the shade. And take it to a lower level, and dig a ditch for a devil. Got some more kids and pass the shovel. Dig a hole, take them on a spiritual roll. Lyrics unfold, either that or unroll the scroll. Episodes keep reoccurring and stifling. People's vision get blurring, their hearts start murmuring. I'm about 5 times iller than a Sherman. Introspection is God's gift to the miracle. I freak material, lamb's milk without the cereal. When MCs say your booty, they mean venereal. Your fake material hip-hop killers, they more faking than fucking Michael Jackson and Thriller. The status of a hoe, Quanto Costa. They wanna know how much it costs, kid, I bet for keep to me. Just relax and just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and just hear a dope track. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax.
1 2 All right. It's now Sunday, December 7th, 0019 Central European Time. That would make it 6:19 Eastern Standard Time in the USA. And that would make it also, 3 on the Pacific Coast, 3:19 Pacific Coast time. Big up to everybody around the globe. Yeah, and things go on. But right now we're about to get into it with this pipe bomber. You know, it's, you know, you really have to applaud the gaslighting that has been done. You know, like I've been saying all the time, military grade gaslighting. This is like the type of gaslighting that has been perpetrated over the internet against, we can talk about American citizens starting sometime long ago. I mean, this started some time ago and has gotten greater, but I would call it military grade type of gaslighting. Like, this is not just your average little okie dokie funny game stuff. This is really like basically war, disinformation type of stuff that goes on. And it's not something innocent. In fact, gaslighting makes it sound like it's not a serious governmental effort. Like, there's not foreign governments involved. Like, this is not orchestrated. The lying hasn't been plotted out. It makes it almost sound like gaslighting, like it's an individual affair. No, it's something that's been plotted out. This is part of disinformation warfare that has been waged against the U.S. government. And when I hear, people willing to go to war against their own citizens, lying, joining with foreign governments in on a hoax to perpetrate it, people actually hear the most amazing things right in their face. And, really, I'm sorry, y'all, but Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, you all must really think everyone is fucking stupid to believe shit, Now, the first thing I got to say, even though we ain't going to start there, we're just going to start off with the lies to show you how it's been orchestrated, right? The lies that they're going to tell you about the pipe bomber and the lies that they've been telling you about everything, January 6th, right? All of it. It's all been an orchestrated event, right? But it is lies. But it only works on people that have to throw away not even common sense, just rational thing. Just, you have to throw all rational thinking out the window to just keep digesting it over and over and over. And that's what victims of abuse do. Victims of abuse, they just throw out the window rational shit and start siding with their abusers. You see what I mean? But that's not what's going to happen. People ain't going to do it. People are waking up to the gaslighting. People are starting to wake up. So we're going to start in another place now. The pipe bomb, Palmer, he just keep note. He struck on January 6th, just so happened to be the same day that everybody else struck. The same day that there was guns outside of Washington, D.C. gathered, meant to be distributed inside of D.C. Yeah, that's also another January 6th event, right? You still think it's not connected? The pipe bomb? You think the guns ain't connected? So none of that's connected to what happened on the same day, January 6th, to the mob that invaded the Capitol. None of those things are connected. Is that what you expect people to believe? Okay. It's not a surprise, but let's go back to first of all, would you ever believe Pam Bondi on any type of day, a sunny day, a rainy day? Who the fuck would believe her? Kash Patel, would you believe him? Would you? I'm really curious. How many people would actually believe Kash Patel today? Fuck it. Why not just believe me then? You know what I'm saying? Because although he's the FBI director, I'm also a vlogger. I'm on social media. Why the fuck don't you just believe me then? Just believe me. Believe everything I say. Although what I say makes a whole lot more sense than what he says, because guess what? Soon as he got in the White House, soon as they got in power, they flipped the whole script and told you that they were lying before. No, all that shit they told you before, which anyone like myself was telling you they're fucking lying about, they admit to the lies once they get into the White House. Like, it's amazing. So let's start off, before we get into the pipe bomber and how the stories that they're telling us right now is so ridiculously idiotic, and you have to really be a victim of abuse, a person that likes abuse, to just believe it and believe it and believe it. Let's start off with their admitting to lying. Kash Patel admitted to fucking lying pretty much. He admitted, oops, everything that I told you before turned out to not be true before, although they got elected on it. Nobody's ever going to believe you again, Kash Patel. It doesn't matter what you say about the pipe bomber. Pam Bondi, doesn't matter what you say about the pipe bomber. No one's ever going to believe you again because you lied your way into the White House. So no one's ever going to believe you again. So 2 seconds. All right. Yeah. Here we go. So 2 seconds. Sorry about that. Now, if they're really expecting people to just continue to believe them, even though they've admitted several times in your face, almost like they have no respect for you. Kash Patel talks all this shit about the Epstein files. And then he talks about everyone, the FBI director, who would have that? That would be the FBI. The FBI director would have the Epstein file list. He would have it in his hand. That would be in the director's office. All of that shit. They capped the whole time. They lied to every single maggot, every single American citizen they lied to. And then as soon as he get in the White House, no, it's not there. We don't have it. I was lied to. That wasn't true. He said it was all made up. He said it wasn't true. Pam Bondi said she was going to release the Epstein files. What'd she do? Full flip circle. Nope. Nothing else there. No one's else. There's no one else connected. They didn't even want to go after Bill Clinton. Yo, they didn't even want to go after Bill Clinton, a person whose name is obviously on some Epstein file shit. But they was like, nope, fuck Bill Clinton too. We don't even want Bill Clinton. They just totally flipped the script. And in doing that, they mentioned, they really let it out that they're basically a bunch of liars, right? They let it out. And now you're supposed to believe them about the pipe bomber? So there's supposed to be no connection between the pipe bomber. Happened on January 6th, the pipe bomber. Okay, no connection there. Okay. There was guns outside of D.C. too on January 6th. Any connection to the people at the Capitol? Yeah. What makes you think they picked all the same day? Just out of nowhere. They picked the same day. Chris, what's up? They just happened to all pick the same day, and your assumption is nothing to do. That's kind of like the opposite of what happens every day on a normal criminal conspiracy day. You normally say, damn, that's interesting. They all showed up here on the same fucking day. That's what they usually say. How is this connected? Even if they don't know how, the assumption is it's fucking connected. You don't all show up at the same goddamn time in the same place. Come on. What is this? What do you think this is? That would be called an ambush. Okay, that's what that was, an ambush. So they are connected somehow. You don't have to know how. Forget trying to figure out how, because the people in charge are definitely admitted liars to the public about everything else. So they're telling you, 2 days ago, they told you, as soon as they caught this guy, they flat out told you, we are not going to tell you the truth. That's pretty much what they told you without using those exact words. Now, let's get on to one of the liars that they happen to come out. Let's hear his excuse for lying.
Welcome back. A cold case suddenly turns hot after the feds arrest a suspect in that pipe bomb mystery. For the last 5 years, no one knew who planted this device in the nation's capital the night before January 6th. And that didn't stop podcast hosts from pushing conspiracies about it,
What's up, Rita?
including the FBI's current deputy director.
There is a massive cover-up because the person who planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it was, because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or this was an inside job. This was a setup.
Oh wow. So notice this. The guy who shot at Trump in Pennsylvania, who is he? Is he a lefty? Is he a leftist connected to who? To what's the group they always try to the anti-fascista? Was that one? What about the guy who shot and killed Charlie Kirk? Who was he? Was he a lefty? Was he connected to an Antifa conspiracy across America? Yeah, we're going to hunt you down. We're going to figure out how you connected. Peep game about the gaslighting. Peep game about the gaslighting. See, they always tell you their strategy because they've already put it out there in the front. They're telling you who they really are. They're telling you who they are really connected. It is them that is clearly connected. And they gaslight everybody else into trying to believe that this shit they put in motion is not totally out of fucking control. You see what I mean? Now watch this. This is this dude. This is the goddamn FBI director right here telling you what he thought just not even a year ago. Not even just a year ago. He had the exact opposite idea, right? Except it was lefties, though. You see? Except it was lefties. He said it had to be lefties. And who else was on the Capitol? Had to be lefties. It was the federal government on the Capitol. It was Biden's people on the Capitol. All those people were Biden's people, so why they get pardoned? You see? Then what about the guns in Virginia, all on the same day? And who said the election was stolen again? Who said the election was stolen again? You see? You know, so look at this. This is they're telling you flat out right here. Listen.
I have zero doubt.
Fast forward to including the FBI's current deputy director.
There is a massive cover-up because the person who planted...
There is a massive cover-up. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds exactly what has been going on with the Epstein files. That sounds exactly what's going on right now with this pipe bomber. That sounds exactly what's going on. Look, MAGA is split. And MAGA has been split for a minute. The dude that took a shot at Trump, who was he again? He was a Trump supporter. At one time, he was a Trump supporter. Pipe bomber, Trump supporter. Charlie Kirk dude, at one time, his whole family is Trump supporters. You see what I mean? Like, what's up with Nick Fuentes, right? Look, is he in agreement with Trump? Are the people that support Nick Fuentes in that MAGA circle, are they in agreement with the Trump MAGA circle? But listen to this guy again. Just listen to this.
About it, including the FBI's current deputy director.
There is a massive cover-up because the person who planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it was because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or this was an inside job.
Just so happens that the guy's a Trump supporter. So why isn't he connected to January 6th again, to anybody else down there in Jan 6? You see what I'm saying? It's like these people, they projected the whole thing, their whole shit, everything that they say, they blame the left for. It's actually them that's been doing this shit the entire time. They've been doing it. And then what happens is that they try to project their own thinking onto everyone else. Who's doing the gerrymandering again in the United States of America? Who has 6 Supreme Court justices to how many Democrats? Who has the majority of the Supreme Court? You see what I'm saying? Like, this is just the most ridiculous bullshit ever. And this is the assistant number 2 FBI director saying the exact opposite of what Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and he is saying right now. He totally changed his entire story, and they're expecting the American people to fucking just believe it because they said it. They must think people are stupid.
This was a setup. I have zero doubt.
Fast forward to
exactly,
now,
Chris.
and a dose of truth serum, it seems.
I was paid in the past, Sean, for my opinions. That's clear. And one day I'll be back in that space. But that's not what I'm paid for now.
Oh, so now it's just a lie. He didn't believe it. So peep this. So they just admitted 2 things. There's 2 things you can extract from this. Number 1, you know definitely what the truth is now, right? definitely what the truth is now. This dude said out of his own mouth he was a Trump supporter. Now, how do you think he just showed up on January 6th? What is that, a coincidence? The guns outside DC that were waiting to go into in front of, to be distributed to people in front of the Capitol, that wasn't a coincidence. That was connected. All those people that showed up in front of on Jan 6 in front of the Capitol, they all just show up by coincidence? Is that what people are supposed to believe? They all just showed up by coincidence, huh? That's what everyone is supposed to believe. No connection whatsoever. Right. No connection whatsoever. Okay.
I'm paid to be your deputy director, and we base investigations
Deputy director.
on fact.
He's paid for it. Before he wasn't. So he's trying to tell people that he just lied. That he just lied about it. No. What you did was you tried to project. You gaslighted people. You know what that means, right? It means he's part of a conspiracy. That's really what that means. Because he was with the conspiracy gaslighting the public using these social media channels, and they gaslighted people so hard they had people believing Hillary Clinton was drinking baby blood on Epstein Island, and now they won't release the Epstein files. That's how much they gaslighted people. See, they had you believing that it was the lefties. That's what they had everybody believing. And they were saying, we're going to get power. And when we get elected, we're going to release the Epstein files. We're going to do all this shit. And as soon as they got elected, they flipped the total opposite. They're going to get and pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, get her into a soft, cushy cell, give her all types of privileges, right? They're doing the exact opposite of everything they said they were going to do. Everything, you see. And now this guy is going to flip the whole script, right? Flip the whole script. And now he's telling you that not only did we arrest the guy, they want you to believe that here's the other one. They want you to believe that there was no tip involved. No tip. Even though this dumbass, he went out there and said twice that it was a tip yesterday. He said it twice. Do we want to talk about what the tip is? He said it twice. We heard it here twice. So they just lucked up. Now, I'm going to tell you, the title here of this video is that if the police don't know who it is, the co-conspirators definitely do. But what if the co-conspirators weren't in power before? All that time you were looking to find out who it is and who it was. What if the people that knew who it was weren't in power? And now that they got in power, now all of a sudden they know who it is. Yeah, they do. Now, is that a surprise? Is that a surprise? In a crime, who are the people that know who committed the act in a crime? There's only two groups that can know. People are part of the conspiracy, the crime, or the police. And if the police don't know, who does? It's very simple. It doesn't matter what crime you're talking about. Any crime, in every crime, there's only two people that would know who did it. The police, and if the police don't know, the co-conspirators know. That's a fact. It doesn't matter who you're talking about, Biden or Harris or Bush or Cheney or Trump or Vance. When there's a crime, there's two groups that know. The police, and if the police don't know, the people part of the conspiracy absolutely, definitely know then. In fact, the people part of the conspiracy know the whole time who it is.
The difference between us and them is, we evolve as information and new inputs come out.
Yeah, he's autistic and he don't fit the profile. Nah, man. These people, I mean, listen. So, autistic man learns how to make a bomb. Autistic man can learn how to make a pipe bomb, though, right? So, what is all that all about? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't fit the profile. Shit, he know how to make a bomb. How does he not fit the profile when this man is saying he made the goddamn pipe bomb? The next question is, how did he learn how to make a pipe bomb? How did he learn it? No internet trail? Don't you find that pretty suspicious? No internet trail? Just no internet trail. No internet trail at all. How come they don't know that? How come they can't tell you how he learned how to make a pipe bomb? Why is that? I mean, you think you know how to but do you know how hard? Do you understand what training it takes to build a fucking pipe bomb? And how are you going to hide it? First of all, he couldn't even hide the fact that he bought the materials. But how do you know if you never made a pipe bomb before? You have to get the information from somewhere. You're not just going to wing it. You're not going to just wing it. Let me tell you this. You are not going to just wing it. You at least have to have gotten the information from somewhere. At least. So where is it at? Where's the paper trail? Where's the internet trail? So to me, this sounds like this only opens up the door to more questions. And here's the other thing. Epstein committed all these crimes, right? Didn't Pam Bondi say he did it with 1,000 people? He had 1,000 victims. Didn't Pam Bondi say that? Didn't Cash Patel say that? Okay. So then, why did you lock up? How come when Trump became president, Epstein got locked up? Why do you think Trump locked up Epstein? Was it because you think he wanted Epstein to, why do you think that is? I mean, if you want to control somebody from telling too much, which Epstein obviously was doing, wouldn't you lock him up or kill him? I mean, which one would you choose, right? Which one would you choose? Would you just let him run around and tell his truth? Is that the choice you would make? Doesn't seem like it. I don't think so. Most people probably wouldn't. If they had the power to lock him up, they would lock him up. And if they had the power to kill him, they would kill him. Now, look. Yeah, exactly. This dude is an anarchist. That's what I'm saying. I mean, really. But still, you still got to get it from somewhere. You didn't get it from the library. You didn't get it from a public library. No, you did not. Now, here's the thing. Look at this guy right here. Look at this. So they lock up Epstein. Epstein comes up dead. That's what happened the last time somebody got locked up under Trump. Now this dude is locked up. Now, when you lock him up, can't you make him a deal? Can't you make him some sort of deal? I mean, or is it better off that he's just free? I mean, this guy is in a situation where he has to negotiate his life now because he's locked up, right? He has to negotiate his life. Now, no matter what, even if that aspect of it is not even part of it, although you definitely know that Trump definitely did not want Epstein running around telling his truth. Definitely not. Yeah, you can order it online, and that's why there's a trail. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's an excellent point. You can order the cookbook online. That's why I said that. You cannot get it from a library, but if you ordered it online, there's a trail. You see what I'm saying? Just like if you go in and you use a credit card and you buy something, there's a trail. You see what I mean? Now, the question is where? It's not just that you can get it online anywhere. Yeah, but where? Where do you get it online? Where did he get it online since you think he got it online? Where did he get it from? Did he get it online? Or did somebody just drop it out in front of his house? You don't know. For real. I mean, that could be a possibility. But one thing you know is they say he's autistic. Well, let's just say this. Autistic people know how to make pipe bombs, apparently. They definitely know how. And they definitely know how to be Trump supporters because that's what he said. And they definitely know how to show up on the same day that there was some guns outside of D.C. Yeah, those people. Who did those people talk to know to? Yeah, let's put these guns outside of D.C. Who did they talk to? What was that idea all about? And then how did the rest of the people just show up in D.C.? How did they show up? You know what I'm saying? Was it just, they just woke up one day and said, you know what, I got an idea, I'll go down there? No. All these people are part of the same vacuum. That's for damn sure. For damn sure. Then you got this dude right here, right? Who you going to sit there and you're going to believe what he says now? This is where it gets really crazy, because you don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me. You're believing an admitted liar.
There is a massive cover-up because the person who planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it was, because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or this was an inside job.
Oh, that's interesting, because he thought it was a conspiracy. This is the guy who's the FBI director, the deputy FBI director now. That was his conspiracy. That was his conspiracy. That's what he was spreading to the American people. That's what he was spreading to the taxpayers. That's what he was spreading. That's what he was saying when police were killed. It was his business to spread that information. Let's hear it again. What he made his business when police officers were killed, where the vice president of the United States had his life threatened. People wanted to kill him. People wanted to kill Nancy Pelosi. This was his business. He thought that, you know what I do? I just go out and I do this.
Including the FBI's current deputy director.
There is a massive cover-up because the person who planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it was, because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or this was an inside job.
Notice how Gregory he didn't say stop it, deputy FBI director. He didn't say stop it, Bombito, back then when he was spreading these lies. No, because the truth of the matter is that he was gaslighting. He was gaslighting. This is not an accident. It's not an accident that he says this. The only issue with this that he got wrong is that it ain't nobody on the left. That's what it is. It's definitely a conspiracy, but it's somebody on the right, like the actual bomber said it was. Like the actual person who put the bombs there said he was a Trump supporter, and he believed he believed that the 2024 election was rigged against Trump. That's what the man said. But here's Bombino. After two police officers died, this is Bombino,
the FBI's current deputy director.
There is a massive cover-up because the person who planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it was, because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or this was an inside job.
Okay. They don't want you to know who it was. Two people are in a position to know who it is. The police and the people who did it. But if the police just don't know, the people who did it definitely 100% without any question whatsoever know. That's how crime works. That's not how crime works with Biden. That's not how crime works with Trump. That's not how crime works with Hillary. That's not how crime works with Cheney, Bush. That's not how crime works with Putin. That's not how crime works with Zelensky. That's not how crime works with Europe. That's not how crime works with Africa. That's not how crime works in South America. That's not how crime works in Asia. That's how crime always works with any human being on this earth whatsoever shape or form, and aliens included. Okay? Even the fish, crime works like that. There's only two possible groups that could know anything. One, the police. And if the police don't know, absolutely 100% the people that are involved in it definitely do anyway. Okay, so this is what this idiot said. You know, that's what I love about him. And they say he always tells the truth. You just got to read between the lines. This is what he said last year,
including the FBI's current deputy director.
He said the police know. He's the one who said the police know. He said that last year. But one thing you know is if the police didn't know, there's only one more group that actually could know. That's the people involved in it. It doesn't matter who you're talking about. Hillary, Vance, Cheney, Bush, Obama, Clinton, Xi, Putin, was anybody, Asia, Africa, oranges, aliens, fish in the sea. Crime works only one way. Either the police know who did it, and if the police happen not to know, then the people involved definitely do. Listen to this guy. Listen to him. He agrees with what I just said last year. But now that he's the deputy director, he's like, no, I was lying. Listen to this.
The FBI's current deputy director.
There is a massive cover-up because the person who planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it was because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or this was an inside job.
Wow, that only works for the lefties, huh? Only the lefties are that good at conspiring. Only the lefties. Oh, wow, that's interesting. That is very, very interesting right there.
This was a setup.
It was a setup.
Zero doubt.
He has zero doubt. Now, what's his excuse now?
Fast forward to now, and a dose of truth serum, it seems.
I was paid in the past, Sean, for my opinions. That's clear. And one day I'll be back in that space. But that's all.
So his excuse to you dumb motherfuckers out there, maggots, right? And believers, serum believers, his only thing he got to say about you, because he don't give a fuck about you, is that he was paid. Nothing about freedom, nothing about justice, nothing about truth. He was paid. So he can lie. He can tell you anything you want. I mean, this is what he's saying it was. But of course, that's not what he thought, though. This is bullshit. This is more bullshit. This is the bullshit you're hearing right here. I was paid to say it. No. You wasn't paid. You might have been paid to say it, but there's something else to what you're saying. There's something else, because what you're saying is coordinated. Plenty of coordination behind that statement, going down the tunnel, and a whole lot of other statements that they made going right down the pike. All of them. You see what I'm saying? And now that they got in power, they flipped the entire thing. That's not a coincidence. That's orchestration. This man on the right, the one that you believe is the bomber, said, I am a Trump supporter. I believe 2024 election was rigged. That's what he said. He showed up on the same goddamn day that everybody else did. That's a fucking ambush. Anywhere else on earth, that's called a goddamn ambush.
Not what I'm paid for now.
And this guy was a YouTuber. He was a YouTuber before he was the deputy. But listen, do you think I would just go out there and just tell you this bullshit? You know what? I was paid. Yo, at least you could be a YouTuber that tells you real fucking ideas. This dude ain't even that. He's admitting to be a complete, total fucking phony right here. And this is the thing about it. You can't have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways. Look at this.
The FBI's current deputy director.
There is a massive cover-up because the person who planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it was because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or this was an inside job.
This is what he said last year. That's what he said. So you trying to say the only people that can coordinate anything are lefties? Is that what you're trying to say? The only people that can conspire are lefties. Is that what that is? So all of this can go on, but it can only go on when it's lefties. Is that what that is? But the dude,
This was a setup. I have zero doubt.
it's a setup. He has zero doubt. But the guy who he arrested said, I'm a Trump supporter. He didn't say he was a lefty. He said he believed the 2024 elections were rigged against Trump. That's not what lefties say. So which one is it? Which one is it? I mean, which one is it? Which one is it? Is the FBI director correct? Or is the guy who had the bombs correct? Who's lying? Is the guy who planted the bombs lying, saying that he was a Trump supporter? Is the guy who planted the bombs lying when he said he believed the 2024 election was rigged? Is that it? Or is it Bombino? Because they both are not saying the same thing. They're saying contradictory things. Which one is right? Put a 1 in the chat if Bombino is right. Whatever the hell his name is. Put a 2 in the chat if the pipe bomber is right. 1 or 2. Which one is it? Which one is lying? Who lied about something? Which one? They can't be correct about everything they saying. The pipe bomber said he's a Trump supporter and he believed that the election in 2024 was fixed. So is he lying? Because that's not what Bombino is saying. He's saying the shit he said he was only saying because he got paid. He don't even believe in it anymore. You see? You see what I'm saying? I believe it's number 2. I mean, what the fuck? What the hell? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. He actually admitted to the bombing. Bombino is saying it's him. It's him. It really is him. Everybody else is saying, yeah, he's the guy. Pambani's saying he's the guy. Cash Patel saying he's the guy. Bombino saying he's the guy. But what? You just ain't gonna believe his story and why he says he did it all of a sudden because it don't work your way. So you believe he's the guy, but nothing else he says is true. I get it. I get that one. I get that. But Bombino is the one who's telling you he lied to you before. He lied to you. Don't you understand that? And the only person that would accept somebody lying to their ass for a year is a goddamn sucker. You believe this dude, you a goddamn sucker. See, even if what he's saying does make some goddamn sense, the only problem is who is really doing the conspiring here. That's the only problem. Everything else he said actually makes some kind of sense. But he just got the wrong tone. He's saying it's the lefties doing it. How did the lefties do it? How the fuck did the lefties do it? Did the lefties say the election was rigged? Did the lefties say January 6th, everybody's going to get together and we're going to fight or we ain't going to have a country left? Is that what the lefties did? Is that what you're saying?
About it, including the FBI's current deputy director.
Letitia James case dismissed. That was a phony indictment. Comey's case dismissed. That was a phony indictment. Come on. Epstein files. What did they say about the Epstein files? Now they totally flipped the script.
There is a massive cover-up because the person who planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it was because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or this was an inside job.
See, he can think of a conspiracy. But as soon as he find out it ain't them, then he's like, oops, I was lying. As soon as he got in office, he said all that was a lie. So here's the thing. Is it the part? I want you maggots to tell me this. Is it the part about it being, what part about it is he lying at? Where's the part where he's lying? That's what I want to know. Is it just the part where he said it was a conspiracy? So all of a sudden you maggots don't believe in conspiracies anymore. So was that it? So he was telling the truth about it being a lefties, but lying about it being a conspiracy. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. See, you have to want to be a sucker. You have to want to be a sucker at this point. Nobody shows up on the same fucking day with a weapon claiming that they're not part of the same conspiracy. Duh. You didn't go all the way across. You didn't take all this risk just by fucking chance. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah. We just, fuck it. No, that's a goddamn ambush. They were ambushing the motherfucking Capitol. That's what that was. That pipe bomber is a part of it. The dudes that was outside that planted those guns outside in Virginia, outside in DC was a part of it. And those people down there that ran inside of the Capitol are all connected. Yes, they fucking are. And you have to be a goddamn idiot to not understand that. You don't fucking need the proof. You can always get that later, goddammit. Okay? What the hell? You could use your common sense.
This was a setup. I have zero doubt.
Fast forward to now, and a dose of truth serum, it seems.
I was paid in the past, Sean, for my opinions. That's clear. And one day I'll...
See, you suckers believe Bambino when he was out there on the microphone last year. Every motherfucking thing he said, yeah, Bambino, man, yeah, that's right. I'm watching this podcast. He's telling the truth. Now he's telling you he lied. Just like Cash Patel told you he was lying about the Epstein files. Ain't nothing in here but his chickens, boss. It was only Epstein, nobody else. He flipped the script on your ass real quick. And so did Pam Bondi real goddamn quick. What makes you think this ain't the same motherfucking thing right here?
I'll be back in that space, but that's not what I'm paid for now.
He's not paid for that now.
Truth serum.
He ain't paid to lie for you to your ass now. So he's just paid to do what? What is he paid to do now? What the fuck? What is he paid to do? I don't even. He's paid to lie to your ass again. That's the funny part about it. He lied to you before. See, he told the truth. He just lied about throwing that lefty thing in there. And now that he's in the federal government, he has to tell you, I lied about all that other shit. But what am I paid to do now? He tell you, I lied about all that other shit and I just did it because I'm getting paid. But he's getting paid now. He's just telling the new lie.
It seems.
I was paid in the past, Sean, for my opinions. That's clear. And one day I'll be back in that space. But that's not what I'm paid for now. I'm paid to be your deputy director. And we base investigations on facts. The difference between us and them is, we evolve. As information and new inputs come out, we can produce different outputs because that's what we believe in. We believe in facts and investigations guided.
Gaslighting. This is just military grade gaslighting. This is a script. That's all this is. This man is telling another motherfucking lie. See, the goalpost has been moved. That's all that is. This is no more the truth than anything else. See, the truth, right? He projected before. He just projected it. He projected the truth. Somebody knows. Yeah. There's only two people that know when a crime is being committed. The police. And if the police just happen not to know, then definitely the people that are involved in the crime do know. That's how crime works. That's how it works. Period. So you can believe all you want. You can try to say that, yeah, the guy showed up on January 6th, but he's not connected to nothing. No. You could say all those people that showed up in front of the Capitol building, yeah, they just showed up on the same day, not connected to nothing. Nothing at all. Not connected to nothing. The people that brought the guns, not connected to nothing. Okay, I got you. None of them connected to nothing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you expect everybody to believe that, then you dumber than you dumb. You just goddamn dumb. Nobody, you really have to work at being that fucking dumb. You really have to work. You can believe. Now, see, the closest thing I've seen to people being this goddamn dumb is people trying to believe shit. And people will take you on a belief train. Let me tell you, with no evidence to prove nothing that they're saying, it's just belief. How many people do that every day? There is something called belief. See, MAGA is a cult. So they don't require any. It is largely just belief from one day to the next. That's why they call it a cult. Get what I'm saying? You see, there's plenty of cults out there that believe in all kinds of shit. Don't have to really prove it all. People believe in it. Yes, you do. A lot of people just believe in it. Yes, they do. Absolutely. Because you got people out there talking about Jesus Christ and holding up snakes in a motherfucking church. talking about a dude will be up in there with some snakes and shit. And a whole bunch of people, he gets bitten, dies, and then you find out in the news story, his daddy was the preacher before and died 30 years before him by a snake bite too. I mean, that's what belief will do you. And belief will get you here too. Believe in this motherfucker. For real. This is some shit.
By facts.
Look, it's worth noting that sources say that the suspect told them that he believes the 2020 election was stolen. That seems to be a very pertinent piece of information here. But I will say, let me just start by saying, the fact that this arrest was made with no new information, just existing information, it does raise a lot of questions about what was going on in the FBI over the last 4 years and why this was missed.
I know the answer. I know the answer, what the answer is. Because how do you know how do you know that's how it came about? How do you know? I mean, that's not what Bambino said yesterday. He said right out in his statement, right out in the press thing, he said it 2 times. And what about those tips? Oh, really? What tip? And right before he said that, Pam Bondi went out there saying the exact opposite. No, don't get this wrong. This has nothing to do with no tip. What the fuck? Why did they keep saying that? Why did they keep spreading that information? They had spread that information in news and all in the media, all that it had nothing to do with any tip. Why do you need to tell people it had nothing to do with any tip? It sounds almost like it had something to do with a tip. Where did the tip come from? Where did the tip come from? How do you know it didn't come from a tip? Look, again, when a crime is committed, 2 people will have the likeliness of knowing. If you're lucky, the police will know. But the police don't always know everything. But one people that definitely know is the people involved in the crime. They know. They know who the person is, where the person is, who else was connected to it. Oh, they know. They know. Definitely. And a motherfucker could pick up the phone and tell you that shit in a heartbeat. It happens every goddamn day of the week. Every day of the week. Blah, 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 blah. This motherfucker did it. You can find out if you just go to his address. He have this, and this. Or anything. You see what I'm saying? But why would you believe, it doesn't matter. Why would you believe Pam Bondi? Give me one reason why you would believe Pam Bondi. Okay, I'll put it to you like this. Is Pam Bondi a trustworthy person? Put a 1 in the chat if she is. Put a 2 in the chat if the answer is hell no. I mean, it's just that simple. You know? Goddamn, if you believe her, you deserve to be slapped at this point. I mean, goddamn, she done lied to your ass so many goddamn times. Why would you believe to a person that lies? Come on. Why would you believe Bambino? He's admitted to fucking lying to you after people died. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, seriously, you got to be on crack. No, not even a crackhead would go for this. Seriously. I'm serious. What do you want to be abused? Do you want to be lied to? You want to be, what the fuck? That is crazy. This is bullshit. Yo, you cannot trust them with this information. They have already showed you they are willing to fucking lie and cover up any goddamn thing. If you believe them again, you deserve to be abused by them again. That's just like how it goes. Okay? You got to stand up for yourself.
However, I think Dan Bongino is telling on himself because he peddled a conspiracy that this was an inside job by the FBI, which it was not. And owning up to that.
But it was a job by somebody. See, that's where he really got out there. He's right about there was a conspiracy. He just got the wrong people conspiring, because it's obvious who was conspiring. It's fucking obvious.
Give him credit for that too. Owning up to it is important and good.
Abby, I don't know if we can give him credit for that.
I don't know if he meant to.
And I don't even think he meant to. I'd like to say, where in the world do they find this audacity? Is it in underneath?
Yeah, he didn't mean to. It slipped. That's the crazy part about it. And it's just like he said look, let me find the clip. How do you do a news thing, a news appearance, a press appearance, where you got the FBI director, the DOJ director, and the deputy FBI director that can't keep the lie together. They can't even keep the things together that they want to say. Pam Bondi goes out there and makes it a point to say it's not because of a tip. She said it twice, and she was the lead. Cass Patel comes out there and says it's not because of a tip. It's just the hard work. They looked at the same information. It's just the hard work they did. The Biden administration refused to do the work. That's what he said. And then Bombino comes out there and says, it was a tip. And then he says it twice. The tip? Should I talk about the tip? Which one is it? You can't. Listen, I'm sorry. But when you're a professional, a group of professionals, you go out there and you home in on the same points, not because you're making them up, because you're a fucking professional and you know the words you say have consequences. These people said two opposite things. Bombino said there was a tip, and he said it twice in the same goddamn news conference that Pam Bondi said it was not because of a tip. But why do you say it's not because of a tip? Why do you even say that? Who said it was because of a tip? Who said that? Who said it in the first place? Where did she get that idea from? Who was saying it was because of a tip to where she have to come out and say, it's not because of a tip. It's not because of a tip. Yo, these people are lying to you. I'm just telling you, if you believe what they're telling you, you're a goddamn fool. You're a fool.
Underneath the couch? I mean, is it in between your pocket? Audacity is crazy. He was telling us straight up without even thinking that he was telling on himself. I just want to do a quick little timeline because I was so interested because he was such a popular podcaster and was such a personality who runs everything. So when this first happened, as he just said, massive conspiracy theory. September 2020.
Do me a favor, click the like button, y'all. Take a second to click the like button. Appreciate it.
22. On his podcast, he was like, I believe and I have been told with good authority that the person who's responsible is a connected anti-Trumper. And he said that it ultimately will be one of the biggest conspiracy theories in America. I'm fast forwarding because I don't want to go through all the hits that I have. Early 2024, still a podcaster. Again, the same thing. He has someone on from Revolver News who goes into why this is such a deep issue within the FBI. And it's a big critical problem because they are a massive cover-up.
Look, because these people, they have constructed these lies way in advance. They were lying before because it's part of a cover-up. The lies that Dan Bombino said before are part of a Jan 6 cover-up. And now that he is in office, the goalpost has been moved and he has to offer a different lie to continue the conspiracy. That's what's going on. That's what's happening. That's the only thing that makes sense here.
That it ultimately will be one of the biggest conspiracy theories in America. I'm fast forwarding because I don't want to go through all the hits that I have. Early 2024, still a podcaster. Again, the same thing. He has someone on from Revolver News who goes into why this is such a deep issue within the FBI. And it's a big critical problem because they are a massive cover-up. And then the last date, because I'm like, how do we get to this point? As recently as November 2024, January 2025, before he was actually appointed, he's still holding feet to the fire saying the FBI needs to say that this is a corruption. And he would not walk it back. And he's saying he was paid to make up this story.
Look, these people, they are paid to lie. They were paid to lie. And they're being paid to tell a new lie now that they're in power, to continue the conspiracy. That's what it is. The first lie wasn't just a lie for no reason. The first lie is part of a Jan 6 conspiracy. That's why they're lying. That's why he was paid to lie. Now the new lie that they're in power is to move the goalposts and to cover up the other lie. Like that's all it is going on. It's still part of the same conspiracy. They're all changing their voice now from one voice that they all had unanimously before, right? Same thing with the Epstein files, to now that they're in power, they want you to forget everything that they said because they're still part of a conspiracy. It's that simple.
People who can.
It's obvious. The pipe bomber showed up on January 6th. He wanted to kill Republicans and Democrats. The people on the ground showed up in front of the Capitol. They went after the vice president, who's a Republican, said they wanted to kill him, and went after a Democrat, Nancy Pelosi, saying they wanted to kill her. They all said the election was rigged. Same thing as the fucking pipe bomber. The people outside of D.C. with the fucking guns were part of the same conspiracy. These motherfuckers who were part of that conspiracy were out there covering it up on their podcast, lying about it. And yes, they were paid. And now that they're in power, they shifted the goalposts to create new lies to cover up the same conspiracy. They're guilty as fuck, basically.
Consume.
And then on top of that, look, fuck all that. If that's too complicated for you, just break it down even simpler. Why would you believe a motherfucker that just admitted to your face that he was lying to you the whole time? Why would you continue to go? And he lied to you when people fucking died. Even a MAGA person got her ass shot. You know what I'm saying? If you don't give a fuck about the police, don't you even care about the MAGA person? No, they don't. Listen, these people are part of something very bad. They don't give a fuck about none of your goddamn lives. It is a conspiracy. Like, really, it's painfully obvious.
That type of
Information.
content to understand that they are being conned.
Correct.
That people are just making things up and selling it to them as fact. And then when they're in a position of power, kind of like the Epstein files, they then come out and they say, oh, oops,
My bad.
I was
didn't
paid
know.
to just
Not
say
fair.
things for clicks and for
The only thing is that it's not just lying for no simple reason at all. People are getting killed. It's not just some innocent lies for money. That election, people really did try to overthrow the election. The only difference is that it was fucking Trump who tried to do it. That's real. That's real. That's a real attempt. And it ain't the left who tried to overthrow the fucking election on Jan 6. I mean, I don't know what's up with CNN. Like, of course, they might be worried about getting sued or worried about whatever the fuck it is, but you have to do some thinking for yourself. Like,
views. I mean, that is.
We should
It's
say, just
ridiculous.
for our own sake and for the audience's sake, that this person is apparently giving conflicting answers to investigators, that he has said that he doesn't
I hear you, Della. I hear you.
believe that the 2020 election was legitimate,
that.
but he's also said a lot of things that we don't know the details of, but it has apparently given investigators the assumption
Why
that's
do we
being
even tell the
conveyed in
audience
reports.
that? We're talking about this guy who's the deputy
because
director.
we don't want to do what Dan Bongino did, which is to establish facts that are not in evidence.
Well, I
Okay.
guess what I'm,
So what
all
we
I'm
should be
all-
doing-
the only
We're
fact that I'm
talking about-
establishing in evidence
Right.
is
No, we have
that,
inference
according to
here.
the FBI, this was not an FBI plant.
It was not.
That's the only fact I know
That's
at
all
this
we know.
moment.
And Mr. Bongino?
So that's the only one I'm putting on the
He
table.
wasn't operating on facts at all when he was making these inferences. There were no
Correct.
facts and evidence.
Correct.
What we have now is a couple of slivers of evidence that we can draw inferences.
Oh, you got evidence. The dude who planted the bomb said he's a Trump supporter and said he believed the election was rigged on 2024. That was his reasoning for bringing the motherfucking bombs down there, to kill a Republican and a Democrat, just like the people on the mall not the mall, in front of the Capitol did. They wanted to kill a Republican, Mike Pence, and they wanted to kill a Democrat, Nancy Pelosi. These people think that way. They're not just willing to kill goddamn Democrats. They are willing to kill Republicans too. The same group is. If you don't go along with that MAGA, they will kill a Republican. What do you That's what it's always been.
From, but they are not established, and they're just using our judgments. So we shouldn't make
here's the problem. Here's this popular podcaster who has this huge audience, and people believe in conspiracy theories. You know that, especially deep MAGA. They want to believe in, and they want to believe in. So now this guy has this entire. I guess he's a senior.
And I bet you the people in the chat that don't like my ass, they don't like what's being said on CNN either. They don't like the fact that CNN, and I don't even, I also, I'm a critic of CNN too. Sometimes I call them the left Fox News, the Fox News of the left. But in any case, they're not that goddamn bad, but they do have some weirdos on there that clearly make up shit and lie and say things that they don't believe just to keep it going, especially from the right wing. But here's the thing. The people that don't like my ass, they're okay with Bombino lying to their ass for a year. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you have to be a punk ass motherfucker to actually accept somebody lying to your ass for a whole fucking year, and you actually think that person is credible? I mean, who does that? Your punk ass does. I don't do that shit. I don't give a fuck who you are. You start that lying shit, fuck you forever. Get the fuck out of my face. Ain't got no time for that. You know what I'm saying? Only punk asses keep coming back for more fucking lies. So yeah. You haters, you can hate on me all you want, but you really eating poorly. Like, you accept being treated like a bitch. I mean, I'm just saying it like that. That's what that is, when a motherfucker can just come and lie to your ass and you just, yes, sir, I believe you again, damn Bombito. I keep on believing you. What he said must be the truth.
Law enforcement official now, and now he's like, I'm getting paid to look at the evidence, and the evidence says, actually, I was wrong, but he won't even admit that he's wrong. And so that is my issue in the world that we live in, where we don't look for facts, that we just trust anything anyone says. And I believe that's why this administration is in the place that it is right now, and how this president got elected, running on conspiracy theories, and now we're saying, okay, it's not true.
Yeah, he ran on conspiracy theories, but he got something else going on, man. It's just very simple. It's not an accident. These lies are not just coincidental. These lies over and over and over. And then all the same people that lied before they got into power now all move the goalposts and start new lies. What did Pam Bondi say? Pam Bondi said after she became the DOJ director, what did Pam Bondi say? She said, yeah, nobody else to be prosecuted. No one else to be prosecuted. Nobody else is involved. That's what she said. What did Kash Patel say? He said it was all lies. The Epstein files was all lies. All those things were all lies. There's nobody else to be prosecuted. That's what they said. And you maggots still support them? I mean, do you think I would ever fucking treat you like a stand? Man, you deserve to be treated like a punk if you believe them. You deserve it. You deserve to be walked all over, because that's what it is. I mean, you've had enough. You've had enough. Nobody's making you believe these motherfuckers. It's not like you're a victim of sex trafficking where you have been so shocked you just have to fucking believe the lies. No, you're a free person, and nobody have to treat you with respect when you act like a bitch like this. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous, It's ridiculous. People that still believe this stuff, I don't get it. You have serious problems upstairs. You live in a country, your dollar, your own currency, just lost value. Do you know how much the US dollar has sunk since January? Have you even looked at it? Don't you even have a problem with that? The actual money you use out of your pocket has greatly reduced in buying power since January. You should be concerned about that. But yet you're not concerned about it. You're just like, oh, well, let me believe Trump again. Trump said it'll be all right next year. It's like, you gonna wait a whole fucking year? The shit is supposed to be going up when Trump got into office, and the shit went down, and now he's telling you wait till next year for the dollar to get better. Okay. That's what you want to do. You just keep on waiting. See how that turns out.
True.
I don't disagree.
No, my bad.
I don't
My bad.
disagree
It's
with
wrong.
any of that. I think we have a different perspective, though, insofar as I think this is an optimistic sign. It's sort of valuable to see somebody who was previously a very conspiratorial podcaster and entertainer, by his own admission, become the deputy director of the FBI and become an institutionalist. He's protecting the
Well,
institution.
he said for now.
He said he'll
Yeah.
go
because
back
he's
to
going to
Yeah.
go
True.
back
Yeah.
and maybe do the same
Yeah.
thing.
He's
over
out of
and
the
over again.
institution,
And in
but
the
the institution
meantime,
is molding and shaping
in the
him.
meantime, there was earlier this year a horrible conspiracy about a person who was not the bomber. They're ruining people's lives over this stuff. There is damage being done. And I don't know that there was I'll give him credit for saying it, but not enough contrition for
Not
the
enough
lives.
contrition.
Well, one thing
For
I want
sure.
to say, though, is that you had said something about the election being stolen. He'd said that there's evidently a lot of far left things that he had views on, so we don't really know what his political view is at this point. I read that he
Who
was
are
a
we
far
talking
left,
about?
the bomber.
okay.
It doesn't
It
even
was
matter.
what
No, it
matters
does.
the
No, it
most?
matters. No, it matters a little bit. Here's why.
We're talking about Dan Bongino.
I know, but here's why it matters. Because what Dan Bongino said was that this comes from the left, and therefore they don't want people to know who
He
did
said
it.
a lot more than that.
He did say a lot more than that,
A
but
lot
that was
more.
one thing he said. So if that turned out to be true, look, the problem is, why didn't the FBI catch this guy? All they had to do is go look at evidence that pulled.
Because, first of all, in any crime, there can only be two individuals that know. One is definitely the people part of the crime. They know who, what, when, where, and how. The police might know, they could know, but if by chance in any crime the police don't know, the people involved in the crime definitely do. That's how they know. So a person that would know who did it this whole time is a person connected to that crime some way, somehow. That's what that's all about. You see, because even if you knew that this dude did it and you covered it up, you're part of the crime too, no matter who you are. You see what I'm saying? If you interacted with that person in any way, shape, or form, and you figured out the day after or a year after or 2 years after or 3 years after that person you ran across or came across was the person and you didn't say anything about it, you're part of that crime anymore. But let's just say he showed up. I mean, the first question is, why did he show up on Jan 6? Why did he think it was important to go there on Jan 6? What was so important? Where did he get the news that it was so important? So, I mean, because this lie can only go on for so far. How did all the other thousands of people that showed up, how did they find out to show up on Jan 6? The people who brought the guns outside of D.C., a lot of fucking guns. That was part of it too. Who told them? Anybody ask? Who told them? Just tell me in the chat. Who told them? Let's go over to that part. Let's see here. Fuck it. Let's make it interesting. It's already interesting, but let's make it more interesting. Let's see here. Boom. Can I lock this up? Let me see here. All right. Let's see here. I mean, I just wanted to know. Here we go. Let's see here. This is about the shooter, right? This is about the shooter, Brian Cole. Okay. January 5th, 2021, pipe bomb case, his ideology, political leanings, alleged social media activity, and related context. Okay. Now they've removed all the points, duplicate points. So there's not going to be duplicate points here. So we don't have to go through all of that, right? Comprehensive report, Brian Cole. Okay, here we go. Background. Name Brian Cole. Incident January 5th. So he planted them the day before, right? Expected to go off on the day. 2021. Bombs placed outside of DNC and RNC headquarters, Washington, D.C. Apprehension. Arrested in December 2025 after a federal investigation. Confessions. Reportedly admitted to law enforcement that he placed the pipe bombs. Okay, so he admitted that. No verified motive. That's what they say, right? Publicly confirmed by prosecutors or FBI as of now. So in other words, for it to be a motive, the FBI have to say that's the motive. It doesn't matter if he's just blatantly telling you what the motive is. They could just be like, still haven't heard a motive yet. Just like how they treating Ghislaine Maxwell. I mean, Ghislaine Maxwell is getting the same. The American people are going to get the same treatment that they got with Ghislaine Maxwell and this FBI director as they about to get with this guy. Same treatment, same shit, right? They expecting you to just be dumb, okay? planted between 7:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. So that's obviously they're waiting for the next day, right? Because who shows up to work at the DNC and RNC at night, right? Nobody's doing that. One day before the Capitol attacks. Location, just blocks from the Capitol. Potentially could have functioned as a diversion, right? That's what the FBI expected before, that maybe this was part of a diversion. Meaning the explosions would happen there. Many police, it would draw a lot of forces to those explosions away from the Capitol building, and that would leave the Capitol more open. That's the idea that they had, right? Meanwhile, there's guns outside of DC also. That's just one part of it. So diversion, see, this is what it is. Potentially could have functioned as a diversion, though it's not confirmed. Timing coincides with the congressional certification of the 2020 elections, but investigators have not publicly stated why Cole chose this specific date. Okay, we don't even need them to fucking state why. You know, we could put 2 and 2 together. It's the same goddamn day. Okay, only one thing's happening that motherfucking day. Okay, it's the certifying of the elections. Okay, the man already said he believed the election was rigged. Okay, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? And that he was a Trump supporter. I mean, what the hell else what is this? Do you need him to say, that's my motive? That's basically what they need him to say at this point. All right. Ideological profile, anarchist sympathies, investigators and media report Cole expressed or held anarchist leanings. Alleged. And this goes right. Listen, do not think that a lot of these Trump supporters are not anarchists. Listen, they went to the Capitol to kill a Republican representative who was the vice president and Democrat Nancy Pelosi and others. So don't get it twisted. Alleged social media posts suggest anti-state or anti-authority sentiments. These beliefs were reportedly not linked to any organization, Antichrist group. Okay, so I mean, sure, you don't necessarily have to link it to a group. It's theology. Just like can you say you're a Christian and not be related to any specific denomination? Yeah, basically, yeah. People do that all the time. You can say all kinds of shit. You could say you're anything. You don't have to be in part of an organization to actually carry the same beliefs. Okay, you could be a racist cracker that believes in the KKK and not be a part of the Ku Klux Klan. Okay, do you understand that? Like, so in any case, let's go on. Allegedly held pro-Trump views and believed that the 2020 election, and allegedly because he said it. This is the crazy shit. Look, believed the 2020 election was stolen, which is ideologically inconsistent with orthodox anarchism. You see how they like, that's inconsistent. That's inconsistent. Okay, well, hey, a lot of shit happens inconsistent. Is being a Trump supporter, is that consistent? Or being a MAGA supporter, is that consistent with killing Republicans? Is that consistent with it? I mean, I don't know. You tell me. No manifest. I mean, plenty of judges getting their ass threatened by who? You think no right wingers aren't threatening Republican judges? You think that's not happening? It is. Okay. So no manifesto, organizational affiliation, or verified ideological writings have been publicly released. Okay. It hasn't been publicly released. Okay. Now, they didn't say that they don't have any writings. They said publicly released. Okay. So Trump beliefs, Cole allegedly believed the 2020 election was stolen and expressed support for Trump to investigators. That's the FBI. So he has said this to the FBI. Did they draw any connection to Trump? Did they draw any connection to the election? It sounds to me like if they don't, then they're probably goddamn stupid, these investigators, or they just want to do a Ghislaine Maxwell job on this. No verified social media posts publicly show him explicitly supporting Trump. So no verified publicly again, but the man said he supported Trump to the investigators. So you got to understand that this is being very exact. All right. You can't walk away and say, it said they had no publicly verified information to suggest he voted for Trump. And then in the sentence, and forget to tell them that the sentence before that, it says he expressed support to Trump to investigators. Okay, they don't have to tell you exactly what was said. Now, here's the thing. Reports are based on statements attributed to him and interviews. Investigators have not confirmed that his pro-Trump beliefs motivated his actions. Again, this is a Ghislaine Maxwell approach to this, or connected him to any MAGA or organized pro-Trump group. You see? Now, it's interesting that they say anarchist in a sense. You know, that reminds me of one thing, that a lot of the Trump movement, right, isn't necessarily just MAGA, isn't necessarily just like one group, if you get my meaning. You see what I mean? Like there's some different aspects to it, right? So that came together, that merged together. So just to keep that in mind, you know, when I hear that word anarchist, it makes me think about, okay, because they don't necessarily operate based on groups in the first place, but that doesn't mean they won't work together. And this Trump thing has a lot of different groups working together. You see what I'm saying? So extremist Antifa allegations, right? Now, some media reports speculate Cole may have sympathized with anti-fascist movements, right? The media, of course, we know who that is. That's Fox News. That's Bambino, right? Didn't he just say that? Yeah, he did. He basically said leftist, right? You know, Fox News always got a leftist to pull out of the, you know, they're always at the bottom of this. It was the leftists that invaded the Capitol, you know what I'm saying? And Trump pardoned them, basically, you know what I'm saying? These people, man, it's always a leftist. Even when the person says, I supported Trump, you know, it's still a leftist then. But these claims are unverified. Thank you. Authorities have not linked him to any known extremist network, left or right. Okay. Now, public reporting and court filings treat him as a suspected lone actor, not part of any extremist organization. Okay. But you don't have to be part of an organization. I mean, you can be part of an organization and act alone. Did you know that? Yeah. There's plenty of people that are part of organizations and act alone, you know? So, you know, or they can support movements and act alone. So it doesn't have to be, as long as you're doing something to help, right? That's coordinated, right? You're a part of the conspiracy. You see what I mean? Now, yeah, that loosely speaking. Now, religious antichrist allegations, right? No credible evidence links Cole to religious extremists, Satanism, antichrist. Okay, here we go. Media investigative reporting make no verified claims of religious motivations. Okay. Social media and online activity. Some unverified reports mention social media posts indicating anarchist and anti-authority beliefs, right? That's typical of the right wing, though. You know what I'm saying? That's typical of the right wing. What was the Oklahoma bombers? Was that like some big organization? Who was that? A popular organization, or was that a small little tiny organization of people that, you know? No publicly verified social media account has been confirmed as belonging to Cole. That's interesting. No verified social media posts publicly show support for Trump. That's interesting. Social media, again, you know, I find this very, very interesting because it's almost as if this is definitely planned, because if you want to get away with something, obviously the best way to do it is to not have a social media profile. But see, you still got an IP address. So that means likely covering up of the IP address, which, you know, or you're doing something on the dark web. There's something else to this. That's what I would suggest, you know. That's what I would think, you know, personally, right? Because most people have social media accounts somewhere. Come on, you know, come on. And he did have some kind of, but here, no verified social media posts publicly show social media posts publicly show support for Trump, although investigators' sources claim he expressed pro-Trump sentiments. Okay, he said that to them, but they claiming he didn't say it online, or they haven't found any yet. Any online speculation about religious extremist Antifa affiliation or political ideology is unconfirmed and potentially inaccurate. Investigative notes. Authorities use interviews, forensic evidence, cell phone data, license plate tracking, purchase records to connect Cole to the bombs. There is no confirmed evidence that he coordinated with others or that he was part of a larger network. Some media coverage emphasized contradictory profile, antichrist leanings, pro-Trump leanings. Okay, let's go on. Firearms and related incidents on January 6th. Okay, this is another aspect of January 6th. Several individuals at Jan 6 Capitol event brought firearms and weapons. Some were seized. Examples: Lonnie Leroy Kaufman was found with a truck full of firearms and ammunition near the Capitol. You see that? A truck full of firearms and ammunition. Okay? Capitol. Several other defendants were charged with firearms-related offenses, including carrying handguns and rifles into the restricted areas. Some weapons. First of all, look, it is illegal. It is a crime to bring any weapon into Washington, D.C. that is not registered with Washington, D.C. in advance. You have to register it or it's a crime. You got to understand that, right? You can be charged of a crime, and I'm sure that they were, right? I don't know why it says including carrying handguns or rifles into the restricted area. DC it's restricted. The whole area is restricted if you haven't registered your weapon in the first place. But they're talking about the Capitol area, so but you still can't roam around DC with an unregistered weapon. If you stop anywhere and have that weapon, if you do anything besides drive directly through, it's a crime with your weapon if it's not registered. Some weapons caches were reportedly staged in suburbs or other areas outside of D.C., though many seizures happened on or around the Capitol grounds. You see what I'm saying? So they discovered other weapons caches outside of D.C. too. Seizures were limited, and the chaotic nature of the event suggests that some firearms may not have been recovered that day. Okay. Summary of unknown and unknowns. Okay. He confessed to the bombs being placed near the DNC. Let me see something here. He confessed to the bombs being placed in DNC. Let me go back up. Okay, here we go. Okay, summary. Right. Confessed to the FBI bombs placed on January 5th. Exact motive not known. Anarchist leanings, express anarchist ideas. Social media posts suggest anarchist beliefs. Okay. Told investigators he supported Trump, believed the election was stolen. So he have the same ideas as the people that show up. All the people that showed up believed the election was stolen. All the people that showed up supported Trump. Okay. So they're part of, whether you figure out exactly how or not, it's really, it's hard to separate this. You know what I mean? Like it's very, very hard. Now you could say they were all individuals if you want, but I don't believe that. I don't believe they were all just luckily showed up. I believe there's something curating their actions, something that motivated them, whether they're aware of it or they're not, whether it's the internet and repeating these election lies, whether it's, this kind of thing. There's something that had to be the nexus, that they're all a part of, checking out or, having empathy for, is it QAnon? Is it that, one of these sites, right? Somebody's behind it. And, there's all kinds of fake, they say Russian media sites that turned out to be MAGA people, all of this shit today. So they all know that, right? There was a story done a few days ago about that. They just uncovered the biggest MAGA social media accounts are actually out of foreign countries, some Israel too. Now check this out. Now, none reported. Okay. Religious. Okay. Social media, some unverified posts attributed to him. Okay. Firearms, Jan 6. Yeah. Gun seizures. All right. So there you have it. There's a lot of information. Now, let me see. Let me look at the chat and see what the chat is saying right now. 2 seconds. Are we there? Let's see here. Who's kid? Except, okay, y'all funny. Chat GDP is drawing. You want to see the sources? that it draws from? Here you go. I'm sure you don't, but since you said that, a lot of people don't follow me often, so they don't actually know how I use ChatGDP. So let's go down here to the bottom. Let's go here. This information has already been compiled in advance, so now I'm going to tell it, list the references. Okay. There you go. The references are all news articles, by the way. So, and the FBI. You see what I mean? You already saw it repeated things Dan Bombino said. Here you go. AP News. Are you happy about that? Or do you like AP News, or are you against AP News? Okay, Washington Post, right? FBI pipe bomb. MS Now, FBI, Hinduism Time, New York Post, People Magazine, New York Post. New York Post was also working and helping out Donald Trump before. New York Post again. Okay. CBS. Okay. PolitiFact. FactCheck.org. You hate them? NPR. You probably hate them too. Guardian. I'm sure you hate Guardian also. Economic Times, right? Economic Times. FT. AP News again. WBTW. Okay. Law.Georgetown. Okay, that's Georgetown University Law Department. Okay. So, I mean, most of the people that follow my channel understand how I use ChatGDP. And a lot of the times when it's pulling information, it does show the references in real time. But if it doesn't happen to show, I can just say, show me your references, and it will show. It draws all from online sources and public references. And it does have a way to riff through channels that are not deemed, accurate. Channels that tend to not be accurate, it doesn't even use. You see what I mean? So there you have it. Now, if you want to know what the sources are, okay? It's like saying Google. The guy uses Google, okay? ChatGPT is run by Google. I hope you understand that. So if your information is in there, and Google tends to, try to weed out a lot of stuff also. It's just for information, because some people don't realize that's how ChatGPT actually works, So you can feel free to use it. Unless you believe that you want to, don't want to use it, then that's your business. You don't have to use it. But I'm aware of how I use it, because I like to have it pull articles so I can read. Now, it's not the only article that's up there. You know what I'm saying? Here's an article right here that I pulled. See? Right? This is about the Florida, the woman who got pulled out of her car, the American citizen, So, there you have it. I just don't always pull the articles up in real time to read them, because, that was just a summary of what's out there, right? So let's go back. Let's go back now to what's going on here on CNN with Adam Mockler, and let's see what he got to say.
No, there is a question there. Why didn't they? So is it incompetence?
Do you believe what's coming from the FBI right now?
Well,
I can't believe anything.
It's a valid question.
It's a valid question
No
to
one
say,
knows.
is this true? So this guy, you're telling me they just sifted through the papers and found some good old police work what the Biden administration didn't do. So
That's
found
what
it.
they're saying.
That's what they're
reporting.
That's
exactly what's being reported.
I will say,
I don't believe
but
everything
I
that's
do
reported.
think that is possible.
Yeah,
Like, it is
I have a hard
actually
time believing that.
possible
It's a valid
that
question.
this information was in their possession,
hard time believing
and whether it was bad police work or indifference or whatever. I don't know what it was, but I do think that there are answers that need to be gotten about that.
It was very bizarre. And by the way, one last thing, he put a bomb at both the Republican and the Democrat side. So the whole thing is weird to begin with.
Yeah,
and he's
but I
walking
think
around, he's on video, he has a phone.
Look, it's very simple, because part of what's behind MAGA is actually Russia. Part of what's behind MAGA is foreign nations, that they've already admitted, and has already been known, that would like the U.S. to go into a civil war. And so they've already admitted it. It's already been explained by the FBI. Iran, China, and Russia have heavy media presence before this election and after this last election, designed to make Americans kill each other and go into a civil war. That's what their purpose was. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, you could be told that you don't have to believe what I'm saying, and you shouldn't believe what I'm saying. In fact, you should go out and do your own research, right? Because that's what I do. I'm not up here watching somebody else's YouTube page, right? I mean, it's 228 people here watching this page. I'm not out watching somebody else's page. I'm actually sharing with you some shit that you're not really going to hear compiled anywhere else. That's why you hear. You see what I mean? So I'm not trying to make up shit. It's there. It can easily be found. That's if you want to know, you can find it. Now, Fox News may not tell you, right? CNN, of all places, may not tell you. Okay. A lot of this stuff I don't hear being said on CNN. I know for a fact that CNN is always going to be behind the line because that's what legacy media is. Legacy media operates differently from independent podcasters. Okay. But if you are a Trump supporter, you don't give a fuck. You love podcasters. You know, that's where you got all your shit from. You got your QAnon shit from podcasters. You all out there listening to Dan Rush Limbaugh and shit. You were listening to Bombino, who just told you he was a motherfucking liar to your face the whole goddamn year, and you still love his ass. You forgive him. I forgive you, Bombino. I mean, you know, and now let me see something. Have the FBI warned American citizens that Iran, China, and Russia utilize online trolling and troll farms to try to get Americans to enter into a civil war. Let's see what it says. You know, and let's see what the references are, right? Let's see what the references are. You know, oh, for those of you that don't like ChatGPT, close your eyes, okay? You don't want to hear this information. This information is not for you. And when I show you the source, keep your eyes closed. And also, close your ears right now, okay? Please, okay? It says the answer to that question is yes. U.S. authorities, including Federal Bureau of Investigation, together with other agencies, have warned that adversaries such as Russia, Iran, and China are conducting online influence operations, troll farms, fake accounts, propaganda, disinformation aimed at sowing division, undermining trust in democracy, and potentially inciting violence. Here is a breakdown. What's known, what authorities say, plus some caution on what isn't proven. Okay, what the FBI and intel agencies say they have observed. In October 2024, the FBI and cybersecurity and infrastructure, or maybe you just think this is part of the leftist conspiracy. Yeah, maybe that's what Bombino was saying, but Bombino said he was lying, and you still on this leftist conspiracy shit. Okay, all right, well, in October 2024, the FBI and Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, issued a joint public surveillance announcement warning that foreign threat actors are likely to use a variety of tactics, fake news websites, inauthentic social media personas, paid influencers like Bombino, AI-generated content to spread disinformation during the 2024 U.S. election cycle. That means before the election date. Leading up to it the entire year in joint statements or before, because you got to remember Trump has been running since the last time he was in office. When he got out of office, he just kept running for office, you know, so people had to deal with a whole 4 years of Trump running. Now, in a joint statement, 2024, the intelligence community said that foreign-linked actors, especially Russia, are conducting influence operations intended to undermine public confidence in the integrity of the U.S. elections and stoke divisions among Americans. Stoke divisions, right? The agencies explicitly warned. That means like you would have trolls that try to pretend to be people that they aren't, try to pretend to be MAGA people, or even maybe try to pretend to even be leftists from time to time, right? And instead of have respectful dialogue, instead of have intellectual, intelligent dialogue, right? Real conversation, it would go into, you know, disrespect, disgust, hate, violence, and thereon. See, now, the agency or conspiracy theories, the left is doing this, blah, 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 all of that shit. The Hillary Clinton was drinking baby blood or Epstein Island and, all of this stuff. And now it's all changed to, Epstein wasn't real now that Trump is in office. But the agencies explicitly warned that campaign risk, inciting violence, including violence against election officials. The FBI and U.S. Department of Justice recently dismantled a Russian government-linked AI-enabled social media bot farm that created hundreds of fake accounts pretending to belong to Americans, used and spread disinformation to sow discord. If you don't know what discord means, go to the English dictionary, okay? I'm talking to the trolls. According to U.S. intelligence, Iranian actors have also engaged in influence efforts, including fake news sites impersonating activists. I mean, this shit is at an all-time high right now. It's like Trump is in power, and they still got these people out here trying to make excuses for his lying ass. Impersonating activists, hacking and hack and leak campaigns, all designed to undermine trust in U.S. democratic institutions, right? Thus, the agencies see real threat foreign adversaries using online troll, fake personas, AI, and propaganda to influence U.S. public opinion, deepen polarization. Polarization, another word trolls should look up, and potentially fuel unrest. Unrest. Look that word up, okay? What the warnings say is what they don't. Okay, so you get the general idea. Now, hold on. Let me see something. Here we go. Here goes some sources in case you want those. We don't want to, we want to know where ChatGPT is getting this information from. Federal Bureau of Investigations. Stop using ChatGPT. CISI, another government agency. Stop using ChatGPT. This guy's using ChatGPT. Okay? PBS. No, this guy's using ChatGPT. Justice Minister. That's a Danish government website, by the way. Okay, the Justice Ministry. Stop using ChatGPT, man. Okay, this one, Internet Crime Complaint Center. I wonder who's in that, but Federal Bureau of Investigation. That's the FBI. ChatGPT, man. Stop using ChatGPT. PBS. I mean, it goes on and on and on. NewYorker.com, ABC, Voya News. I mean, come on. Euronews, CBS News. Come on. It's so many. Look, Time. I mean, come on. Do you not know how it works? I would advise it for you, by the way, if but you can use Google because that's what ChatGPT is using. If you want everything you do to take a little longer on Google, go for it. I got no problem with that. But in any case, let's go back to hearing the rest of this. Let's see here. Boom.
Oh, no one can find it?
Well, let me actually, since we were talking about this, let me play what Kash Patel and Don Jr. were saying about this earlier.
In this instance, the prior administration had the same exact information that this FBI had access to and chose not to put the resources on target. Why they didn't want to do that is a question for them, but it was an intentional failure.
I never understood how this could just disappear. I mean, 2 pipe bombs targeting the headquarters of the Republican Party, targeting the headquarters of the Democrat Party. That, to me, is a far greater threat than any of the nonsense, a grandma taking a selfie inside of January 6th, and yet it just disappeared. It's almost like that was the backup plan if they didn't get what they wanted out of January 6th, which to me seems like a very clear setup operation.
So they didn't hear the pipe bomber say, I was a Trump supporter and I thought the 2024 election was rigged. That's amazing. It's almost like they only hear what they want to hear. Even the people they fucking lock up tell them shit and they just completely, utterly ignore it.
And look, you're absolutely right.
So one conspiracy gives way to another, it seems.
They keep moving the goalpost. One conspiracy gives way to another. They just keep moving the goalpost. So now the goalpost is totally moved. Okay. And the guy that they arrested, they're moving the goalpost while the dude that they just arrested already told you. So these guys don't even believe what the pipe bomber, the dude that admitted to doing it, says. You know, what's going on here?
So Kash Patel and Don Jr. and Dan Bongino are now on this conspiracy theory treadmill where one gets disproven and they jump to the next. The problem is Dan Bongino, like a bunch of other MAGA commentators, got super rich off of peddling straight lies and is now coming into the friction of actually being in a position of power. There's a chance that he goes and lies more, but think about how many lives he ruined, how many lies he told. He went on a whole few month campaign about Vance Bolter, about all this stuff. All these lies that he's told will culminate into tricking Americans. I used to go to Trump rallies during his campaign and I would debate with his supporters. That was my thing, debating his supporters. I'll never forget, there was this one woman with American flag face paint. I asked her who her favorite podcaster was. She said Dan Bongino. I asked her if she would vote for Putin or Kamala if she could choose. She said, I'd vote for Vladimir Putin. Kamala's a traitor to this country. So this is the effect that Dan Bongino is having when he's lying to Americans who just want to love their country. They think they love their country.
Look, somebody wrote,
this is the story of the hour. Who?
I see somebody wrote, so he put pipe bombs at both headquarters. How did that help? I don't know what you mean by how it helped. What do you mean? What do you mean, Dope Inc.? What do you mean? I don't get your question. How did it help? How did it help what? Who? How? What? I don't get it. You don't see. Oh, you must have just got here. I get you. Or I'm not understanding it. I'm lost, actually, to be honest. But in any case, let's continue. You might not understand this, but the people who showed up on Jan 6 in front of the Capitol, they also wanted to kill some Republicans and Democrats. They wanted to kill people on both sides. In case you haven't been following the story, right?
Who is Brian Cole? Was he working alone? And why did it take 5 years for this man to be found? He was living just miles from the scene of the crime. We are poring over the criminal complaint right now against Brian Cole Jr., 30 years old.
Now, this is Fox News for the people that support Trump. All right, let's hear what they got to say.
Under arrest for
I just put this here to be fair because I want to do some breakdown on this too. Right? Not only CNN, I told you, I see CNN as almost being kind of like, they're a little better than Fox, but I call them jokingly the left Fox, the Fox of the left, you know, because they have some people on there. One of these dudes that no matter what you say, this guy is like always looking for a reason for Trump to be right somehow. But, you know, it could have been that Trump did this and it could have been, it's like, no, motherfucker, he's in the Epstein files. End of story. Release them.
2 pipe bombs outside the RNC and the DNC the night before the January 6 riots on Capitol Hill. They were discovered before they were detonated, thankfully, but then Vice President Harris came within feet of one of them after 1,000 interviews, tens of thousands of videos, hundreds of tips, and a $500,000 reward. FBI Director Kash Patel says it all came down to this earlier today.
We did not discover any new information. What we did, an investigation spearheaded by the deputy director and the ADIC of our Washington field office, brought in a new team of investigators.
Look, they said he said it was spearheaded. Listen, I'm gonna play you Bam Bondi. Now, this guy, they both said that it had nothing to do with any tips. And then in the same thing, see, Pam Bondi goes first, says it has nothing to do with any tip. It was just new eyes looking on the same information. Pam Bondi said that. Kash Patel said it. And then when they called Bambino, he said the exact opposite. He started talking about tips. Oh, I don't want to tell you about the tips. It's crazy.
Experts re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do.
Correspondent David Spunt live in Washington, reading through the criminal complaint as we speak. Hi, David.
Hi, Martha. It's not even 10 pages long. I've been looking through it, and it shows.
Okay, hold on. 2 seconds here. 1 second. I want to go to the Bambino thing real quick, just so people can see what I'm talking about, because it is ridiculous.
With the Trump administration's drastic changes to U.S. national security strategy and...
Okay, where's Bambino? 2 seconds. All right, it's coming up right here. Did I play that? Oh, shit. Oops. Hold on. 34. Here we go.
CNN has learned.
All right. Now let me pull this up. I'm sure they came in here. Oh, they didn't come in here? All right, hold on. Pam Bondi, Cash Patel. Dan, what is that called? Press on Pipe Bomber. Okay. Here we go. Because this is so relevant right here. You have to hear what Bombani, Bambino, whatever the hell his name is, actually says. Hold on. I want to go out of here. Let me see. Because we're going to flip back to Fox. But let's see. Is this ABC? Okay. Because I want to see the whole one.
Thanks to all of the people.
Now, here we go. So,
people standing around.
Let me try to find Bambino here. Where is it at? Wait a second. This is not it. Is this it right here? Pampani? No. It's this one. All right, so here we go. And then I'm going to go back to it. Let me see. Let me go to Bombino. Here it is. Listen to this. This shit is hilarious.
Thank you all for being here for this critical investigation we've been working on for a very long time. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words, Attorney General and Director. I appreciate it. Folks, this is what it's like when you work for a president who tells you to go get the bad guys and stop focusing on other extraneous things not related to law enforcement. This is what happens. We had a great team. I know it's said a lot in this business. It was a team effort. It becomes cliche, but cliches are useful for a reason because they matter. And this was a team effort. The director and the attorney general emphasized that it was not a new public tip this came from. This was our internal work at the FBI. And I want to just really express my sincere gratitude to this attorney general and this president for allowing us the latitude. I spoke with Ms. Bondi very early when we, maybe day 2, and I said, we're going to get this guy. And she said, yes, you are. And we did. I want to also thank, he's not here, but Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who we deal with often as well, who could not have been more supportive. Whatever process we need, Judge Janine, Todd, and Attorney General Bondi, they were there. All you had to do, they were a phone call away. And their team was amazing. We actually never had to make that phone call because they were always responsive. Thank you, Judge, as well. You were amazing. Folks, you're not going to walk into our capital city, put down 2 explosive devices, and walk off in the sunset. Not going to happen.
Now, keep in mind, they pardoned all the people that you heard. They pardoned them. Did you bring guns to D.C.? You see what I'm saying? What about the people that caused the death of the police officers? What were they? They got pardoned. You see what I'm saying? So this is kind of the person, look, the person who the police actually shot, you know what happened to her? They actually paid for her funeral and shit. Did you know that? Did you know that? Yeah. But listen to some more. So there, it's almost like they didn't see anything that happened on the Capitol. That wasn't part of it. But for some, it just makes no sense. It makes no sense. This guy pardoned you're not going to come into D.C. with it. Yeah, this group of people came into D.C. and some of them had guns and other ones had guns stashed outside of the Capitol area waiting. You know, it's
this person to the end of the earth. There was no way he was getting away. Well, we didn't have to track him to the end of the
2 police officers, Rebecca, you're the fool. Because 2 police officers died from injuries they sustained by those January 6 people. Just because you didn't hear about it only shows you don't give a fuck about it. That's what that shows.
The earth wound up in Woodbridge, Virginia. I want to thank the team. They were amazing.
Okay, troll.
Again, Attorney General Bondi, for your incredible support. Director Patel, Judge, I know they're giving me a lot of unnecessary credit, but make no mistake, they were intimately involved in this and were there for all of those supportive mechanisms, and I deeply appreciate it. The man whose team did the work is the Assistant Director in charge of our Washington field office, Darren Cox. Darren's got some comments, and Darren has some more details on the case he can provide. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
Oh, wait a second. He didn't make his statements. Hold on. Is this the first step? That wasn't the statement that he made. Hold on. Or did they call him back up? Here we go. They called him back up. All right. Sorry. Here we go.
Dan, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. I was smiling at you because I certainly remember the moment. Darren remembers it too. He said, "Are you sitting down?" Called me on the phone. I said, "Oh boy, why? Is this bad news?"
So you hear this, right?
And he said, "I think we got him." What exactly that tip was, we're going to have to pass on that for right now while we're still, obviously we're in the prologue of a long book. This is just the beginning.
I mean, he just said it right there. He's about to say it again.
This is not the end of the investigation, as you all well know, having reported on these for a long time. There's interviews to be conducted. The search warrant processing scene is not even done. So we're at the early stages, so that's the only reason I hesitate to tell you what the exact tip was. But yes, that was absolutely the moment, and it was due to the diligent and incredible work of a team in the Washington field office that came in and just scoured through this over and over and over and over again.
In general, was it forensic? Was it a phone call? Was it something about a vehicle?
We'll just leave it generally forensic evidence. Yeah, it's fair enough to say.
Excuse me? How long ago that was?
I'd rather not say because of the ongoing interview process, and I don't want to.
Say one thing?
Yeah, of course.
I just want to. Team of experts who were.
Certainly remember the moment. Darren remembers it too. He said, "Are you sitting down?" Called me on the phone. I said, "Oh boy, why? Is this bad news?" And he said, "I think we got him." What exactly that tip was, we're going to have to pass on that for right now while we're still, obviously we're in the prologue of a long book. This is just the beginning. This is
right. So he's going to pass on what that tip was, although they sat up there and they said it's not a tip. You see what I mean? So I don't know if this is their messaging problem, right? I mean, using language, not hearing what the other one is saying. Maybe it is a messaging issue for them, but, in my mind, I wouldn't believe their ass anyway. And secondly, you already heard this, the guy who's telling you all of these people here all told you that the things that they said before they were appointed their positions were not true. Pam Bondi told you that. Kash Patel told you that. Bam Bombino told you that. So there's no rational person that would sit up here and need to expect that they're going to release information or be forthright about this. I mean, it's going to be a political moment. This is not going to be a moment of, how can I say this? You do what's right for the people of the United States of America because people have died, people's lives were threatened, this kind of thing. No, it's not going to be that kind of moment. The kind of moment that is going to be is a make-believe type of moment, politicized moment. Even though the guy said himself out of his mouth that he believed the election was rigged 2024, and the guy said that he was a Trump supporter, and he placed those bombs in front of the DNC and the RNC, that they're going to put all of that shit aside and try to disconnect it from everyone else who showed up on the same day. I mean, you're going to hear it. They're going to say that, but it's just ridiculous. It's no more ridiculous than any other lie that they've told, But let me see here. Let's get on to the next part because we heard all of this shit before. Let's go back to.
This is the story of the hour. Who is Brian Cole? Was he working alone? And why did it take 5 years for this man to be found? He was living just miles from the scene of the crime.
Well, here to react is none other than Judge Jeanine Pirro. Of course, D.C. U.S. Attorney. Judge,
I just want to hear what Fox got to say
deal.
about it for a second.
Americans, I think, had begun to think this would never be solved. This case would never be, people would never feel good about this because of what happened. Explain the key piece of information in your mind.
You remember when Osama bin Laden was killed? And what did the same folks say? They said it was a conspiracy. He was never killed. That's what they said.
That cracked this case.
Well, Americans had a right to feel that this case would never be solved because it was clear that the Biden administration did not make this a priority. Within a couple of months of the...
these are the same people that sent Ghislaine Maxwell to a cushy prison cell and are okay with that. Okay with that. These are the same people that fired the prosecutor that prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell. They're okay with that.
Finding of these pipe bombs, they pulled agents off this case. When President Trump came in, he made a decision that he was going to reinvigorate the investigation. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino made a decision.
It's a lie. They didn't pull people off of this case. Actually, the only people that pulled FBI people out of their jobs is this administration. But the Biden administration never pulled people off of this case. That's ridiculous. There's no cases that just disappear like that with the federal government. Are you out of your mind? This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But this is what Fox News has to say.
That we were going to look at this, reanalyze evidence. And what I said there was clear. 3 million pieces of data. And we had to find the commonality. We had to find what was common when you had a...
We had to find a commonality. January 6th. That's not a commonality. Supporting Trump. That's not a commonality. Right. That's not a commonality. Thinking that the election was rigged in 2024, that's not a commonality. If you want to be lied to, okay.
A pipe bomb made of a pipe, end caps, wires that were red and black, as well as...
They're not even asking how did the dude find out how to make the bomb. You're not going to hear that question on Fox News.
A 9-volt battery and some, there was also
These
some
are common items.
These are very common.
You find them around
items.
the house.
But for example, there were end caps that we had to analyze. 233,000 of those end caps were sold. We had to, the FBI, to their credit, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino did an incredible job. All of the agents did.
Look, this lady, you know why she lost her job before? Is because she was trying to get another detective to spy on her husband who was having an affair and record him. She was fired from her last job because of that. And now she's here trying to tell you the commonality is not January 6th. The commonality is not that he's a Trump supporter. The commonality is not because he believed the election was rigged in 2021.
He looked at every one of these end caps, found out who bought them, and tried to figure out who was the common person with the end caps, with the pipes.
Cell phone pings.
Cell phone pings that connected with the defendant walking along that area with the video that we had. When we had the pings, when we realized that his cell phone is pinging exactly where he's walking, we knew we had someone. But we didn't stop there. We had to get all of his receipts. He's been buying this kind of equipment since 2019. And by the way, this is a guy who kind of has a very low
profile.
life. Yes. He lives with his mother, his family.
Bail bondsman
that his father owns. He does very little. But this investigation was reinvigorated. There was a determination here, and I have never seen agents work around the clock. With prosecutors from my office, every time they found a piece of evidence, we would get the search warrant. And make no mistake, we're going to take this case across the finish line. This is solid, Laura, as solid as they get.
Mark Warner was watching the press conference today, Senator Warner, and he seemed to kind of downplay the importance of this. I think we have the soundbite. Let's watch.
It kind of makes me, looking at this crowd, doing a victory lap when all the senior FBI officials across all key divisions have been fired for political purposes. It's a little rich that they're saying America's safer. How much earlier could we have caught this guy if resources hadn't been diverted?
How much earlier? Well,
look, you got to keep in mind that basically they're just saying Biden pulled people off of it. Now don't get me wrong, because every American should want to know what happened, and they should expect things to happen. But look, almost everything that Biden did, the same people try to discredit. Prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell. They try to discredit that. Fired the prosecutor. The people on the Capitol grounds that invaded the Capitol on the same day, they were prosecuted by Biden. What did Trump do? Pardon them. So anything Biden would have done, Trump would have come back and undone. And you don't even know what's going to happen to this guy. Look, Pam Bondi. I mean, it's ridiculous. Trump actually hires people that don't really do shit. Look, he hired Pam Bondi. He hired, what's the guy's name? Acosta from Florida. What did Acosta do? Gave Epstein the sweetheart deal. Did no time, really. Pretty much, right? So he's the reason why Epstein kept going for 20 more years. What did Trump do? Gave him a job in the U.S. government. That's what Trump did. Pam Bondi took over for him, right? Then Pam Bondi gets a job, okay? Right? Then keep in mind, he arrests Epstein, but Epstein never makes it to trial. So you never get to hear from Epstein again. All gone. They don't release the very files that they say they're going to release. You see what I mean? And now we're here after they actually invaded the Capitol, threatened to kill Mike Pence. Yeah, we're prosecuted for that. Threatened to kill Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, none of that shit counted. You couldn't ask the police to do anything because Trump said, hey, that was all that was the FBI down there doing all of that stuff. That's what Trump literally said. And now you're supposed to sit back here and believe that, no. Biden and them, they just didn't do anything about the pipe bomb. They fired people. That's a goddamn lie. There's no evidence that they fired anybody. It took some time. And again, in any type of crime, there's two individuals that you might want to know. No. First of all, the police might know if they solve the crime. But there's people that definitely know for sure, and that's the co-conspirators. They would know who did it. They would know real fast, the co-conspirator. You see what I mean? So it is kind of funny that they knew instantly. Let's see how the evidence plays out. But me, in my mind, I wouldn't believe a goddamn thing that any of these people say. They've been wrong the whole fucking time. Even Fox News was spreading Trump Bambino's lies. Everything that Bambino said, Fox News was spreading. Everything that Pam Bondi, everything that Kash Patel said, yeah, you know who would have the Epstein file? The list, that would be in the director of the FBI's thing. Everything they said, each one of those people completely reversed once they got into power. And look at Fox News. They still going at it again. It's still Biden. It's still the Democrats. Okay.
Maybe he should talk about the fact that the Biden administration had this. That's how much earlier, Senator. You had 4 years to solve it, and you didn't. So I don't want to hear this nonsense from the Democrats. This case was solved because of President Trump and this administration making it a priority. And Laura, the well-being of any society depends upon whether or not people feel safe. And people feel safe when we do.
Nobody in Congress felt safe the day on January 6th. Nobody felt safe. What are they talking about? Nobody felt safe, but they didn't care about. See, this is just only one of the things that they could point to, that just the one thing. Anything else that happened that day that got prosecuted, they don't make no connection to whatsoever. And think about this. On the 6th, think about this. On that day, that's Trump. It's Trump's own fucking administration. Everything. So how did you let a whole group of people plot and plan to invade the Capitol in the first place, Trump? How did you let that happen under your FBI? How did that happen? This was Trump's FBI that all this shit happened under. It is. It is. Then the very people that anybody has prosecuted under Biden, they reversed the fucking prosecutions, or they did something to go after the people that prosecuted them. Every single thing. And now this one thing they're claiming is a victory for them that proves, again, the same old story. Biden didn't do nothing. That's what this is about. Biden didn't do nothing, huh? Okay, but if Biden did do something, what would you do? Give him a fucking pardon? I mean, that's basically what they do.
And we will make the...
Or give him a cushy cell. They're going to get this guy a cushy cell so he doesn't talk. That's basically what it's going to be. He's going to get the cushy cell treatment, you know, so he don't talk.
Criminal accountable. And that's what we did. No one else did that. So don't allow politics to enter into this, other than if he wants to talk about Biden.
Yeah, they let the Jan 6 people. They pardoned the damn Jan 6 people. What the hell? They gave Ghislaine Maxwell a cushy cell. They pardoned the Jan 6 people. It's like, what are they talking about here? What the fuck are they talking about?
That was just
dumb.
A stupid comment. He usually doesn't make comments that are that stupid, but that was pretty stupid. What else do we know about Brian Cole? I mean, neighbors say that he liked to walk his Chihuahua dog, I guess.
Yeah.
He had a dog. We
surveilled him.
2013 Virginia high school graduate.
Right.
I guess did not, as far as we know, didn't go to college. But do we know anything else about his social media habits or his political affiliation? Anything?
Look, what I can tell you is that he was always wearing his headphones. He would take his dog out. He'd go to the 7-Eleven. He was very, as you say, low-key, low-profile. There wasn't a lot going on. His closest friends are his family. He lives with his mom and his sisters. He would go to work for a few hours a day.
And she just yapping and yapping and yapping. I mean, listen, lady, why don't you just ask her, how did he learn how to make a fucking bomb? I mean, they're never going to get to that question on Fox News. That's not part of something they want to know. That doesn't just pop up in their head. How did he figure out to make a bomb? Since he's this guy, he's just quiet. He's just this and that. Listen, if you don't even ask the question, you can't get an answer.
His father had a bail bondsman company, and he was just a very low-key person that you would never expect.
Friends?
Not a lot of social media. No.
Was his daddy a Trump supporter? Was his mama a Trump supporter? I'm just curious. I don't know. I would be asking. That's what. Look, same questions that got asked about the dude that shot Charlie Kirk. Who? What was his family like? What was his family? Who was this? What did he do? I mean, they showed you pictures of Charlie Kirk, you know, using a gun when he was a little dude. I mean, not Charlie Kirk. The guy that shot him. What's the guy's name that shot Charlie Kirk? I forget the guy's name, but they showed pictures of him. You know, using automatic weapons, assault rifles at a young age. You see, they had all of that shit. This guy planted bombs in front of the DNC and RNC. They ain't asking nothing. Like, there's nothing, no stories about that. Don't even want to know.
Not a lot. No.
Any priors or prior
No
arrests?
priors. No.
So I mean.
Oh, you said his parents aren't Trump supporters? Okay.
If I see this,
I mean, it's just a guess for me because I know there's some black men, some black people that's out there capping for Trump even to this day.
Like someone who lived a lot online, maybe did.
But it doesn't always have to be that way. Even if his parents were or weren't, it's not necessarily doesn't mean that they would stoop this low. You know what I'm saying?
Have a big social circle.
You're right. You're right. Use that.
Let me see if they've even asked that question. Somebody said that they weren't Trump supporters. Let me see. I mean, let me just check that out if that's been released publicly.
Quiet individual that you would never imagine could put a pipe bomb, put it together, and by the way, when we
you
went
learn
in
that
this
on the
morning,
internet, by the way. You don't learn that usually in a book.
But when the FBI went in this morning, they found.
You see what she just said? She said you learn that on the internet. You don't usually find that on a book. Okay, that's the first bright thing I heard her say. Right. So is she asking the next question? Has the FBI, you know, how come the FBI, if you found it on the internet, then how come you don't know where he got it from? I mean, I find that very suspicious. And let me tell you, you don't know if he learned it on the internet. Although, strangely enough, she's offering that theory. I mean, I would say look for the internet, but understand one thing. He might have got this shit from somebody else on paper given to him. They're launching this whole thing with trying to convince people that he's not connected to any other people on that day involved with anything else on January 6th. No connection to anybody else. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Oh, somebody put the guy's father sold bomb materials. Okay, well, I'm going to find out. Let's take a look. Where'd you get that information from? Who wrote this? Paul Tanlihi or whatever. Is Paul wrote that. Paul, tell me where you got that from, Paul. Let me know where you got that information, just so we can look it up and see what that's what it is.
A lot of other products and pieces for pipe bombs.
Like what?
Other pipes, other wires, other timers. He was into this, very much into this.
Judge, when you think about the legal obstacles that have been thrown at this administration, whether the challenge to the National Guard in D.C., the
wires, other, and when we
you
went
learned that on the internet, by the way.
You're right. He's that quiet individual that you would never imagine could put a pipe bomb, put it together. And by the way, when we
you
went
learned that on the internet, by the way. You don't learn that usually in a book.
But when the FBI went in this morning, they found a lot of other products and pieces for pipe bombs.
Like what?
Other pipes, other wires, other, And this morning, they found a lot of other products and pieces for pipe bombs.
Like what?
Other pipes, other wires, other, timers. He was into this, very much into this.
Judge, when you think about the legal obstacles that have been thrown at this administration, whether the challenge to the National Guard in D.C., the D.C. Appeals Court today gave not a ruling on the merits, but it wasn't bad news for the administration on the National Guard question. I think that's going to get overturned. The district court saying he has to pull the National Guard out.
Yeah.
But is it surprising to you that there has been
all right,
such
I'm going to skip this part. Let's
It
go.
took nearly 5 years to find Brian Cole Jr., the man accused of placing pipe bombs outside of the RNC and DNC in 2021. Cole Jr. made his initial appearance in court yesterday, where he faces 2 criminal counts and a maximum of 20 years in prison. For years, we have had the very surveillance video that you're looking at. You see the suspect wearing a face mask, a gray hooded sweat.
Look, it says here in NBC5 that that the criminal complaint says, this is the criminal complaint now, right? This is by the FBI or the DOJ, whichever one, says that Cole Jr. himself purchased galvanized pipes and caps, battery connectors, kitchen-style timers, electrical wire, steel wool, and other components consistent with the bombs from stores like Home Depot, Walmart, and other retailers over the period of 2019 and 20. Cole worked in the bail bonds business in North Virginia. Apparently, the family business run by his father. Okay, but they don't say, the report doesn't say that he bought the materials from his father. That's clear. Okay, so whoever's saying that, I don't know where you get your information from, but you might want to get some sources, my friend, and you might want to quote your sources. But let's continue.
Sweatshirt, black gloves. At approximately 7:54 p.m., he sits down on the DNC bench before placing one bomb. Surveillance video drops off for a few minutes, and then it resumes. And the suspect then places the RNC bomb at about 8:16 p.m. As the FBI notes, the suspect is, quote, wearing distinctive Nike Air Max Speed turf shoes, which are black and gray. You're looking at it with the yellow Nike logo. Fewer than 25,000 of these shoes were sold between August 2018 and January 2021. The FBI had all of this evidence for several years, and the Biden administration failed to close in on the suspect over a 4-year period. After just 10 months of the Trump administration, they located Brian Cole Jr. Fox News contributor Nicole Parker is the author of The Two FBI's Bravery and Betrayal, the perfect person to ask about this. Nicole, as I look at this, there was a lot of evidence. Yes, he was covered in that surveillance video, but do you think they could have found this guy sooner? And why didn't the Biden administration?
They absolutely could have found him sooner. I think that it is a clear, example of what I talk about over and over here on Fox and frankly in my book. There really were two FBIs when I was there. FBI 1, the good, solid FBI agents that just wanted to do their job, uphold the Constitution. FBI 2, Kaylee, they completely politically and socially weaponized the agency.
So you see, what they're doing right now is it's basically the same thing that they did even before this. All the things that they said before, all the things, you keep in mind, this is the same news agency that backed up who? Kash Patel and his lies. What Kash Patel says, everything he said about the Epstein shit before he got into the FBI was not true. Pam Bondi, same damn thing. Nobody else here, no other criminals here in this FBI files. I don't know why y'all talking about it. Look, and then Bombino, I mean, he admits himself, and this is on Fox News. Like, you know, it's crazy. It's on Fox News that they're showing this shit. Look at this. This is Fox. Look.
Was the person?
Oh, this is C-SPAN, but Fox covered the same shit too. They all covered this stuff.
Did those pipe bombs? They don't want you to know who it was because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or this was an inside job. This was a setup. I have zero doubt.
Fast forward.
So you see, I mean, it's the same story with Fox News. Even though that was CNN, he said the same thing on Fox News. Bombino. I mean, we can look it up. I don't have any issue with looking it up. But it's already there. Look, they did the same thing. I mean, they constantly kind of created this echo chamber, but Fox never goes back, right, to tell you the parts that were wrong. You see what I mean? I mean, they're not critically covering any of these people at all. You know, they're essentially allowed to say whatever they want.
Well, here to react.
Right? They're allowed to say whatever they want.
It took nearly 5 years.
Create an echo chamber, right? And then when the echo chamber doesn't turn out to be correct, then they just slip out and they start coming with a new point of view. And so the new point of view, I mean, just keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. Just listen to this one more time. Listen to what this woman says. Listen.
Does this make sense? It took nearly 5 years to find Brian Cole Jr., the man accused of placing pipe bombs outside of the RNC.
And I want you to listen very closely to what this woman says. But Bombino says the exact opposite of her. Listen, I'm going to play this. Just listen. Listen one more time. See what I'm saying.
In 2021. Cole Jr. made his initial appearance in court yesterday where he faces 2 criminal counts and a maximum of 20 years in prison. For years, we have had the very surveillance video that you're looking at. You see the suspect wearing a face mask, a gray hooded sweatshirt, black gloves. At approximately 7:54 p.m., he sits down on the DNC bench before placing one bomb. Surveillance video drops off for a few minutes, and then it resumes. And the suspect then places the RNC bomb at about 8:16 p.m. As the FBI notes, the suspect is, quote, wearing distinctive Nike Air Max Speed turf shoes, which are black and gray. You're looking at it with the yellow Nike logo. Fewer than 25,000 of these shoes were sold between August 2018 and January 2021. The FBI had all of this evidence for several years, and the Biden administration failed to close in on the suspect over a 4-year period. After just 10 months of the Trump administration, they located Brian Cole Jr. Fox News.
I mean, I have to say, and after 10 months of the Trump administration, Ghislaine Maxwell got a cushy cell. Jan 6 people pardoned. Some of them went on to commit other crimes. Yeah. Some of them were assaulted children, little girls. I mean, it's all kinds of felons that they just released right out on the street. You know, that's not what they're talking about here. But
contributor Nicole Parker is the author of The Two FBI's Bravery and Betrayal, the perfect person to ask about this. You know, Nicole, as I look at this,
now listen to what she says, and then we're going to play Bombino, and you tell me if it makes sense.
There was a lot of evidence. Yes, he was covered in that surveillance video, but do you think they could have found this guy sooner, and why didn't the Biden administration?
They absolutely could have found him sooner. I think that it is a clear,
You know, first of all, listen to how she just contradicts her own words. I think they could have found him sooner. Listen to this. They do this all the time. They make sentences with 2 opposing theories. Look.
Nicole, as I look at this, there was a lot of evidence. Yes, he was covered in that surveillance video, but do you think they could have found this guy sooner? And
listen to the language here, because they say it so fast. You know, this is straight up manipulation. They say it very, very fast. I mean, we gone through this before. It's not even her. A few times. This is even Pam. I think Pam Bondi do the same damn thing. Listen.
why didn't the Biden administration?
They absolutely could have found him sooner.
Okay, they absolutely could have found him sooner. And then the next thing she said is,
I think that.
I think. You think? Or you know? Which one is it? You see, and they constantly do. This is what you call disinformation. Because when you say they absolutely could, what's supposed to come after that is here. This is the proof. And actually, you're never going to get any proof from these people. You're never going to get it. Everything she's making claims that's like don't even sound like there's anything. Look at this shit. This is like she's talking about there's a good and there's a bad group. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean?
It is a clear, example of what I talk about over and
sooner. And why didn't the Biden administration?
They absolutely could have found him sooner. I think that it is a clear, example of what I talk about over and over here on Fox. And frankly,
you think it's a clear example?
In my book, there really were two FBIs when I was there. FBI 1, the good, solid FBI agents that just wanted to do their job, uphold the Constitution. FBI 2, Kayleigh, they completely politically and socially weaponized the agency, and it was so bad under the Biden administration, I made the decision to walk away. So
she made the decision to walk away. She's a goddamn journalist. I mean, what is this? They're saying that she worked for the FBI herself?
As we look at this investigation of the pipe bomber in D.C., they had all of the evidence there. It wasn't a priority. The number one priority under the Biden administration, the Merrick Garland FBI and Christopher Wray, was going after the January 6 misdemeanors, President Trump himself, and his supporters.
The January 6 misdemeanors. So, this is who was misdemeanor. The people with the guns, right? Those are misdemeanors. The people with the guns are misdemeanors. The people who brought the cache of guns, they're misdemeanors. Right? I mean, this, it's they're going to do a lot to try to separate the pipe bomber who showed up on the 6th, right, from everybody else who showed up on the 6th, even though the pipe bomber says the same exact things that everybody on the sounds to me like the pipe bomber heard the message that went out and was like, yeah, I'm going to do some shit. Today is the day. And Trump is right. And he's calling for people to come out. Do you know how many people got interviewed on Jan 6 that said, damn, you know what? I was there because of Trump, because Trump said we should be there. And then after they saw what happened, they were like, God damn, like, oops. It's loads of people like that were like, yo, they were only there because of Trump. That was it. Trump made them feel like they wouldn't have a country. That's why they were there. Like straight up, Trump gave that call. Now, look, you heard what she say. Now, let's just listen to Bombino one more time. And you tell me whether this makes any sense whatsoever.
Including the FBI's current deputy director.
There is a massive cover-up because the person who planted
this is Bombino in 2024.
Those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it was because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or this was an inside job.
Now, keep in mind, you hear what he just said. It sounds like what the Fox News is spreading today, right? Isn't that what she just said? Yes, she did. Now listen to Bombino. That was Bombino 2024. Then you heard the Fox person 2025 just a day ago. And now you're going to hear Bombino, the difference from what he's saying now. Listen.
This was a setup. I have zero doubt.
Okay, that's what the 2025 lady is alluding to. This is what the lady you just heard that just said this shit the other day. She's alluding to this. What Bombino said in 2024, right? Now listen.
Fast forward to now and a dose of truth serum, it seems.
I was paid in the past, Sean, for my opinions. That's clear. And one day I'll be back in that space. But that's not what I'm paid for now. I'm paid to be your deputy director. And we base investigations on facts. The difference between us and them is we evolve. As information and new inputs come out, we can produce different outputs because that's what we believe in. We believe in facts and investigations guided by facts.
So why is she saying what Bombino said before? Why is she saying that when he is the deputy director and he's telling you he was paid to say that shit? You see what I'm getting at? You see where this is going, right? Click the like button if you understand what I'm saying. I mean, come on, this shit don't make no sense. It's a hot mess. They can't keep their shit together. They can't keep it together. They can't keep it together. I mean, and it's the same thing as the Epstein files. You capture Epstein, but you can't keep it together. Why is that? Why is that? They capture Epstein, don't want to release the Epstein files. Say they were going to release the Epstein files, don't want to release the Epstein files. But they capture Epstein, but he never makes it to trial. He dies in a New York court. You see, this shit is a hot mess, yo. To me, it seems like they're still trying to explain how they ain't connected to all of this themselves. You see what I mean? Now that they have power, they trying to distance themselves from all the things that they said before. But Fox News, this lady, right? So if Bombino was saying those things and he got paid before, right? If that's what his story is, right? Then
Well, here to react
what
is
is
none other than.
what is this lady's story?
It took nearly 5 years to find Brian Cole. He sits down on the DNC bench. 1,000 of these and betrayal, the perfect person to ask about.
Now she's writing a book. So she's selling you a book, right? So there's money involved with this, right? Obviously, what she's about to say, she wants you to buy her book, but let's see.
Nicole, as I look at this, there was a lot of evidence. Yes, he was covered in that surveillance video, but do you think they could have found this guy sooner? And why didn't the Biden administration?
They absolutely could have found him sooner. I think that it is a clear, example of what I talk about over and over here on Fox.
She didn't get the memo.
In my book. There really were two FBI.
She's trying to sell a book. Look, she didn't get the memo from Bambino because this dude already said all that shit he said he was getting paid to say. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I was there. FBI 1, the good, solid FBI agents that just wanted to do their job, uphold the Constitution. FBI 2, Kaylee, they completely politically and socially weaponized the agency, and it was so bad under the Biden administration, I made the decision to walk away. So as we look at this investigation of the pipe bomber in D.C., they had all of the evidence there. It wasn't a priority. The number one priority under the Biden, they had all the decision to walk away. So as we look at this investigation of the pipe bomber in D.C., they had all of the evidence there. It wasn't a priority. The number one priority under the Biden administration, the Merrick Garland FBI and Christopher Wray, was going after the January 6th misdemeanors, President Trump himself, and his supporters. And they were very brazen about it. They didn't even try to hide it. It was very well known to all of us in the agency, and that's not how the agency should function. Let me tell you that I was involved on the 2018 Cesar Sayoc pipe bomb case. I'm sure many Americans remember it. This individual sent over a dozen pipe bombs to very high-level Democrats. It caused the evacuation of the Time Warner building in New York. It was very egregious. It was awful. But do you know how long it took the FBI to solve that case? 4 days. From the moment that we had the evidence.
Hey, look,
and
where do you think she started her career in the FBI? Take a guess. Which state do you think that was? Miami. It's Florida. It's Florida. It's Florida. Yep. Yeah, it is.
The first pipe bomb was discovered 4 days. That man was in handcuffs under the first Trump administration. And I'll tell you right now, the victims of that crime, they were all Democrats. Did President Trump sit back and say, you know what, those are my political opponents, so we're not going to go find the suspect in this? Absolutely not. And he applauded the work of the FBI agents back in 2018 and said, this individual deserves to go to jail, and he did. And that is the right way that the FBI should function. Lady Justice must be blind, justice must be served, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, and things need to happen in a fair way. You've got the evidence, do the investigation.
Yeah,
I mean, it really sounds, I would like to ask her, why did Comey get fired from prosecuting? Why was she fired when she prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell? Like, why is Ghislaine Maxwell sitting in a cushy cell if these words are true? Why is that?
This individual deserves to go to jail, and he did. And that is the right way that the FBI should function. Lady Justice must be blind. Justice must be served, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on.
So, is Lady Justice being served with Ghislaine Maxwell? Has it been served? Was it served with January 6th? Was that served? I mean, I don't know. You tell me. Was it served? Was it served with pardoning dude from, what is it, Ecuador? Was it, or El Salvador? Which one is it? The dude that smuggled 400 tons of cocaine into the U.S.? I mean, what about the Binance dude? You know, him getting a pardon. Is Lady Justice served with all these pardons like that? I mean, you tell me. You tell me if it is. But in any case, let's get back to the pipe bomb.
That has haunted the FBI, allegedly solved.
Brian Cole Jr. was arrested and charged with placing the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC on January 5th, 2021.
Law enforcement swarming the home of the 30-year-old Cole, who lived with his mother in the D.C. suburbs. The FBI claims that Cole, seen here in a yearbook photo, planted potentially lethal bombs discovered outside the headquarters of both the Democratic and Republican national committees, just minutes before hundreds of Donald Trump supporters breached barricades and stormed the Capitol.
Make no mistake.
So, who's in favor of this happening? Put a 1 in the chat if you're in favor of this happening. Should these people been prosecuted here? If they should be prosecuted, put a 1 in the chat. If they shouldn't have been prosecuted, put a 2 in the chat. And why were they here? Yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's no problem because it is. I mean, you have to live with whatever your choices is, because whatever this is, if this happens to you, you can't just go flip the script all of a sudden and be like, oh no, that was violent. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Oh, that was violent. If this happens to you, you can't say that. Okay. So, yeah. What did the police officers say that worked here that day? Did the police officers that worked here say it was peaceful? No. So why are you against the police that worked here? Dennis, why are you against the police that worked here? Jeff, why are you against the police that were? I mean, oh no, yeah. Why? All you people that put a 1 in the chat, why are you against the police that worked here? So you're on these people's side, but you're not on the police side, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, Honduras president. Exactly. He pardoned his ass too, but at the same time, he wants to invade Venezuela for drugs. Okay, we got you. So, whose side are you on here? Are you for the police or are you for the people storming the Capitol? Put police if you're on their side, and put the people storming the Capitol running over the police. Put that if you for them. I'm for the police. So there you go. Which one? Which one are you for? You tell me. You know, let's hear it. Are you against people beating up the fucking police? I mean, let's see it. There it is right there. It's right in your face. You don't need to go far. I mean, the evidence is in your face. He's here on the same day. Okay? He's here on the same day. He got the message from the same people these people got the message from.
Of both the Democratic and Republican national committees, just minutes before hundreds of Donald Trump supporters breached.
There you go. You see that? Bow. Did you see that?
National committees.
Look, let's just slow it down a little bit so people can actually see what's going on here. You know, I mean, all I know is that if I was one of them police, I would have shot their ass. So let's just go on. Look at that. See? What is that all about? So you're for people throwing things at the police, right? You're for people assaulting the police?
The Democratic and Republican national committees, just minutes before hundreds of Donald Trump supporters breached.
You for that? You for somebody knocking the police upside the head with a hockey stick? Is that okay for you? Is that okay?
Barricades and stormed the Capitol.
Make no mistake.
I mean, I guess you for that. That's okay. But if you for that, why you not for the bomber? If you for this, they wanted to kill Nancy Pelosi and kill Mike Pence, then why are you not for the bomber also? What's different about the bomber? The bomber wanted to hurt people? Is that the difference? You know what I'm saying? What's the difference? What's it? Are you for the? Okay, so who's for the bomber? Put a 1 in the chat if you for the bomber. The bomber wanted to hurt Republicans and Democrats. He was there because he thought the 2020 election was a fraud, was stolen. He's a Trump supporter. The people that you saw right there beating up the police believed that the election was overturned. Yeah, they believed the election was overturned. They came down on the 26th. They're Trump supporters. Oh, you not for the bomber? All of us, you not for the bomber? Why are you not for the bomber? All he wanted to do was hurt some people.
Minutes before hundreds of Donald Trump supporters.
These people wanted to hang Mike Pence and kill Nancy Pelosi. What is the difference? What's the difference? Yeah, he's black. That's what the difference is. A lot of these bigots. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Because this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, thank you, Chuck Parker. Goddamn. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see no difference. What the fuck? You don't want nobody blowing some shit up to help your cause, MAGA? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? So it's okay to knock a police officer upside the head for your cause, but it's not okay to blow his ass up. It's okay to kill the vice president of the United States and Nancy Pelosi, but it's not okay to blow their ass up. I don't get the difference. I'm not understanding the difference. I mean, why aren't you for both? Because you're for violence. You see, put a 1 in the chat if you see the hypocrisy in what they're doing here. Like, how could you support this and not support the bomber, but you support the guns being transported there? You know, what the fuck? You support, you know what I'm saying? You support the guns being transported there, the gun stashes. You support the beatings of the police. You support the threatening to kill the vice president. You support the threatening to kill Nancy Pelosi, but you against the motherfucking bomber who wanted to kill Republicans and Democrats too for the same reason, because he thought the election was over, was scam in 2020 against Trump. He's on Trump's side. What the hell is the difference? You know, listen to me, you Trump supporters, and listen to me, you trolls. All you're proving is that you are motherfucking hypocrites. That's all you're proving, that you're fucking phony. That is all you're proving, and it's being documented right here in this fucking chat. That's why the chat is on replay, for motherfuckers like you, so everybody can learn something around the world. Europe, watch this shit. Everybody in Europe, watch this shit. Watch this shit. This is these games these goddamn trolls play. This is what it is. Watch it. Pay attention. Don't let this be you. You got people, don't let this be you. You're going to have people in your country out to kill people like prime ministers, government officials, knock police over the head. And they like, yeah, I'm for that. And then all of a sudden, the bomber that comes the same day for the same fucking reason, then they're going to be like, no, but I wasn't with that one. Just that one alone. Only that one I wasn't with. Yeah, we know, motherfucker. We know. Because your goalpost, your story has to change. The goalpost has to change. Just like Bambino has to change and shit. We get it. In any case, you ain't fooling me. Shit. I mean, you're not fooling me. I'm going to treat your ass the same as the bomber, okay? Same people is right in here. I'm going to treat your ass the same. I don't give a fuck what your color is, okay? I'm going to treat your ass the same. And if I was a police officer here, any of you motherfuckers, white, black, you could have been, what that dude's name, the leader of the Proud Boys, any of y'all, I would have shot your ass. Like, just be real about it. Any of you. They should have shot you motherfuckers.
breached barricades and stormed the Capitol.
Make no mistake.
Make no mistake. Yeah, we know, motherfucker. Make no mistake. We gonna make sure Ghislaine Maxwell gets that cushy cell. Make no mistake.
It took nearly 5 years, but federal authorities arrested a suspect in the case of 2 pipe bombs placed outside the Democratic and Republican National Committee headquarters the night before the January 6th Capitol riot. The story, first reported by CBS News. Here is Attorney General Pam Bondi on the arrest of Brian Cole Jr.
We okay. We wanted to beat the police up. All we wanted to do was overturn the election. We just wanted to hang Mike Pence. All we wanted to do was kill Nancy Pelosi. But we not with the bomber, yo. Nah. No. We different.
Let me be clear. There was no new tip. There was no new witness. Just good, diligent police work and...
Look, somebody wrote, Tariq. Who the hell is Tariq? Tariq is like this. Look, Tariq, damn, man, thank you for the $5, but yo, let me tell you something. Everyone has a narrative, stories, or what drives everything. If your story doesn't align with mine, you or mine. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's like, it's crazy. It's very simple. It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to be different. You know what I'm saying? It just has to be different. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Prosecutorial.
I mean, come on. How could you be for beating up goddamn police, killing Nancy Pelosi, trying to kill Mike Pence because he won't overturn the election, thinking that the election was stolen, being a Trump supporter, so you with all of that, but suddenly you ain't with the bomber who wanted to do the same thing you wanted to. He wanted to hurt some people. He wanted to fucking hurt some people. He wanted to hurt some. You wanted to hurt some Republicans. He wanted to hurt some Republicans. You wanted to hurt Mike Pence. He wanted to hurt some some RNC people. You wanted to hurt Nancy Pelosi. He wanted to hurt some DNC people. Why? Because he believed the 2020 election was overthrown. He was willing to commit violence. You were too. You brought your guns planning to commit violence, and he brought his bombs. What the fuck? What is the difference? I mean, what's the goddamn difference? What? So now all of a sudden, there's a difference between guns and bombs? I don't get it. What's the difference? What is the difference? You okay with shooting people, but you ain't okay with bombing people. Okay. You're okay with planning to shoot people, but the difference is, okay, but he's okay with bombing people, but he ain't bombed nobody. He didn't. What's the difference between you and him? You're worse because you actually fucking hurt some people for real. You actually really did knock some police upside the head. You really did. These motherfucking people, boy, they just goddamn crazy, man. They just goddamn crazy.
A 5-year mystery.
Look at this shit. This is them. They think they better than the motherfucking bomber. They think they are better than the goddamn bomber. Look at this is them, yo. Here you go. A mob of goddamn apes. A mob of motherfucking monkeys. Planet of the motherfucking apes right here. Here they are right here talking about they better than the bomber. Bomber ain't hurt nobody. You did.
Hundreds of Donald Trump supporters.
Bow! You see that? How many of you want me to knock you upside the head just like this?
This before hundreds of Donald Trump supporters.
Would you like that? Is that what you consider peaceful? Getting knocked upside the head like that?
Reach bear.
I mean, yo, you are no better. You planned on killing people. You planned on killing people and you brought guns to do it. And you hurt people. You actually hurt the police here. You hurt many fucking police. And you were out to kill people and you were proud to say it. What's the difference between you and the bomber? What's the difference between you and the bomber? The bomber's not a freedom fighter? But you a freedom fighter? Well, you're a freedom fighter because you brought your guns. The bomber brought his bombs. And nobody got hurt by his bombs. Somebody got hurt by these people and they're freedom fighters, but the bomber ain't a freedom fighter. I mean, come on. This is just some bullshit. You know, this is just bullshit. This is just the same old bullshit, the same old bullshit, the same old bullshit, you know. And keep in mind, none of it makes sense. You won't be able to go back in time and change all the things that have already been said by all these Trump supporters before. You see, now they want to change the goalposts. Now they all have different stories, but you will never, just like you won't go back and change Pam Bondi's statements before she was appointed to the DOJ. You won't change Kash Patel's statements before he was appointed to the DOJ. You won't change Bambino's statements before he was appointed the deputy director. All that shit contradicts every fucking thing they are doing right now. They're complete, utter hypocrites. And if you support them, you're a fucking hypocrite too. And it's really simple. Only a dumbass can be fooled by you. Only a dumbass, you know? So let's see here. This shit is crazy, man.
Wrap up something special at the downtown DC.
Oh yeah, here come the holidays coming up. Oh well. Anyway, damn, they got something about DC in there. What the hell is that doing? Why is that happening? All right. Well, in any case, I wouldn't be going to this because I don't want no bomb blowing up. But in any case,
Cole Jr. and members of Cole's family.
The guy went to the hearings today
without answering any questions. John Shorman, the man in the red tie, has been hired to represent Cole. Before the hearing began, Shorman told News 4 he was still building his defense team and would have a statement later.
Brian Cole said very little in court today other than confirming he was 30 years old and had a high school education. The magistrate judge then read the charges against him and the years that he could get.
I think everybody that went down there probably just had a high school education. Everybody on Jan 6. These motherfuckers, yo.
If he was convicted. As he was led out of the courtroom after a hearing that lasted less than 15 minutes, several family members stood up and yelled, "We love you, Brian," and then broke into tears.
The FBI says Brian Cole Jr. is the person in these videos walking around the DNC and the RNC in January of 2021, the night before the attack on the Capitol. It took almost 5 years, but investigators say they have enough evidence to convict him. In a 7-page court filing, the FBI says on January 5th, 2021, at approximately 7:10 p.m., Cole's Nissan Sentra was observed driving past a license plate reader at the South Capitol.
Yo, the Germans thought they were right too. Exactly. They thought they was right. I mean, hey, Tariq, I appreciate that statement right there. And listen, you know, I appreciate the Cash App and everything, but look, a bright statement goes a long way, period. Cash App or not. So I just want to let you know that, and anybody else, but I do appreciate it, no doubt.
Street exit from Interstate 395 South, which is less than 1/2 mile from the location where the individual who placed the devices was first observed. The agents also wrote, provider records show that the Cole cell phone connected with provider cell phone towers, consistent with the Cole cell phone being in the area of the RNC and the DNC. On January 5th, 2021, the Cole cell phone engaged in approximately 7 data session transactions with provider towers between 7:39 p.m. and 8:24 p.m. The FBI says it also has evidence Cole purchased bomb components at several stores in Northern Virginia. NBC News is reporting Cole is cooperating with the FBI and told agents he believed the 2020 election conspiracy theories. The 30-year-old has a job working in the Fairfax office
I think
of
this,
a bail bondsman.
I think this says it all, and it is true. He believed in the conspiracy theories. That's what he believed in.
There was no mention of a motive, and there is no reference to a motive.
Now, he was also online. Pretty much he's been indoctrinated online, which means he's a victim of disinformation. And it's not innocent disinformation. It's disinformation sponsored by foreign governments against the United States of America. That's what it is. And, that's what being online will get you, especially without a brain that's able to clearly decipher information. You know what I mean? And it's happened to a lot of people. It's happened to a lot of young people. Young people are susceptible to the internet. When I was growing up, we didn't have internet. I'm 55 years old. I didn't have the internet. I didn't get my smarts from the internet. You see what I mean? I got my smarts from the old-fashioned way, having to read the newspaper, having to read books, having to know a little bit of something about the people that write it. You see what I mean? Great effort had to go into publishing the books that I read. You see what I mean? And not that there's not a bunch of weird-ass books out there either, but, you know, you get to go to school, discuss books, read, be in book clubs, things like this, you know, to challenge your critical thinking skills. You see what I mean? Sadly enough, today, we don't have that. That's not what's going on really for a lot of people. A lot of people are getting their internet on the web. A lot of people are getting their information just on the web. There's nobody challenging their critical thinking skills. And it really is like a vacuum, you know, that seeps in. If you don't have access to facts, data, numbers, quantitative, qualitative figures, then you really end up believing a lot of stuff that's really not there. And I'm at least happy that they said that he believed the conspiracy about the 2020 election. Now, very simple question. How many of you believe the 2020 election was rigged? Put a 1 in the chat if you believed it was rigged. I want to see how many of you are with this bomber. I want to see how many of you are with those people that attacked the Capitol. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe the 2020 election was rigged. Put a 2 in the chat if you believe it wasn't. Come on. Let's see. I mean, you know, there you go. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. If you think it wasn't. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it was rigged. I mean, because these are potential nuts, too. You got to understand, these people are going to come out with a bomb, a gun, and something like that later on also. I mean, you know, because they believe fucking conspiracies, okay? And they believe in violence, and that's just what it is. So you may as well identify yourself. Go ahead. Let's go. Keep it going. Don't stop now. Just put a 2. Don't worry about any comments. Just put a 2. Let the motherfucking FBI know and everyone around the globe that no, you ain't one of them, because this shit is going to turn around on them. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Tariq said humans, despite their ability to be smart, are quite stupid. Absolutely. I mean, we have the potential to be smart. Listen, qualifying information means you actually get to meet people too in real life to qualify things. It's not only the quantitative data, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I've been around the world, not all the way around the globe, but I've traveled enough as a young person, you know what I mean? In my youth, really different inside the U.S. and outside of the U.S. to kind of know that you can't really fool me with people. I know, you know, I know, for example, let me give you an example. I know American citizens of the United States and Venezuelans, we're basically the same people. Different country, same people, same history. I pretty much know that. You see what I mean? There's not really big differences. The difference is our government. I know that, right? But as far as the people, our culture is pretty much the same. You see what I mean? And it's like that. Canadians, it's also the same thing with American citizens. But it's not really that different. It's the government that's different. You see what I mean? So you can't fool me, because I know plenty of Canadians. I know plenty of Mexicans. I know plenty of South Americans. I know plenty of people from Middle East, people from Asia, people from Europe, people from Africa. You can't fool me. It's good people everywhere around the fucking world. You see what I mean? You can't really fool me. But this shit right here is different, because this shit gets created on the internet where you never fucking get to meet anybody. Zero. These people will swear. Exactly. These people will swear on something someone fucking told them that they can't even see their goddamn face. Nothing. Can't verify nothing about their life being real. Zero. And they will be collected into mobs like this, where they will tell you flat out that they believe something that's not real and try to back it up. These people are on the side of the bomber. They just don't want to say it right now. Just like they were on the side of the violent insurrectionists on Jan 6. They just don't want to say it. They don't want to say it that they with the bomber, but you know they're with the bomber because they're with everything the bomber said. They had the same idea, the same plan to inflict violence, and they actually did inflict violence. The bomber, it didn't inflict no violence. See, that's the crazy part about it. The bomber didn't inflict any violence. They did. The other people who went to I mean, it's crazy. You know, and they just sit up there like, yeah. You know, it's sad. It's sad. It's sad, man. It's really sad where things have gotten, you know, but it only goes to show you, don't follow a crowd. Don't be the type that just follows the crowd so easily, you know, because these motherfuckers will have you out here doing some crazy shit like that. What this guy did with this bomb, it's no different than what these other people did on January 6th. It's the same thing. They got this internet shit in their brain. They got connected to these foreign countries that are trying to get Americans to kill each other. And these people are too fucking stupid to realize it. That's what it is. And don't get me wrong. I can understand if you were an enemy of the United States of America that you would want to do that. I can understand that. But I can't understand is how many dumbass Americans will fall for this shit when you could just really go for rational things. You could really just support rational behavior. These same goddamn Americans that will storm that Capitol building, they don't want cheaper health care. They don't want health care. They don't believe health care is a right. No, they don't. They don't believe education is a right. No, they don't. You see how irrational these fucking people are? But they will violently kick in the door of the Capitol. You got to understand it. They resort to violence fast. You see what I'm saying? They believe that they can eat their gun for breakfast. They believe that their gun right supplants rights to education, rights to motherfucking healthcare, right to a union job, right to a fair living wage. These people are fucking stupid. And the bomber, he happens to be a black dude, but he's just as fucking stupid. He fell for the bullshit. He fell for the internet bullshit, the internet hustle. It's the new hustle, yo. It's the new motherfucking hustle. And he's doing it. He just fell for it. I mean, yo, it's some shit. You got to watch your kids, man. You got to watch your kids because they will become tragedies like that. And, I mean, I can say this. Look, the guy was young. How old was this guy when he did this? He wasn't that old. He wasn't that old, you know. How old was the bomber? He wasn't that old. Just like the guy who killed Charlie Kirk, he wasn't that old. But what about these older motherfuckers that are supporting this bullshit? You see what I mean? You know, yeah. He was 25 years old, basically. He was 25 years old. Basically. You see? So, his brain, you know, to be honest with you, a male's brain, they say, only fully matures at 27. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? Like straight up. That's what the medical world, the medical field has said. You know, so this dude is not really, you know, his critical thinking skills is not really there. I'm not saying he doesn't have smarts, because if he knew how to build a bomb, it takes a little bit of smarts to do that, yo. And you better be goddamn careful so you don't blow yourself up too on top of that. But the thing about it is that he believed in the same things that these January 6 people did. And now these January 6 people are so motherfucking hypocrites, they trying to distance themselves from this shit. That's all. It's just bullshit, you know? It's so sad. I mean, if you thought it couldn't get even more pathetic, this is even more pathetic. You know what I'm saying? It's even more pathetic. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, you know? Let me see here. Anyway, they're going to play some. Let's hear some more. He confessed. Now, let's hear his confession.
This morning, the U.S. Attorney for the nation's capital, Janine Pirro, confirming NBC News reporting that the man charged with planting pipe bombs around D.C. on the evening before January 6th believed conspiracy theories about the 2020 election.
Well,
he believed conspiracy. So, listen. So, are they lying? Is it conspiracy theory, the 2020 election? Let's get it out there again. Come on, conspiracy folk. Was the 2020 election rigged? Come on now. Come on. Let's get it going again. Let's get it going again. Come on. This is what the pipe bomber believed. Are you with him? Do you share that opinion with the pipe bomber? Yes, you do. You are a lot like the pipe bomber, some of you.
Was disappointed in various aspects of the election, but this guy was an equal opportunity bomber. He was disappointed.
He was an equal opportunity bomber, and the people in January 6th, they're equal opportunity too. He wanted to kill Mike Pence. That's a Republican. Nancy Pelosi, Democrat. They were equal opportunists, you know. And her drunk ass, you know, she can't explain it away. That's not a difference yet. There's still no difference. Now you see how they really trying to distance themselves from this bomber. This is crazy.
Pointed it to a great deal in the system, both sides of the system.
30-year-old Brian Cole confessed, according to 3 people familiar with the matter.
MAGA came in and got rid of all the other Republicans. They didn't want to have nothing to do with the rhinos. They use that term every day. Rhino, he's a rhino. We can't trust him. Rhino, rhino, rhino. What's the difference? What is the difference? There's no difference. They were equal opportunity too. They got rid of all the other type of Republicans. All of them.
To leaving 2 explosives outside of Republican and Democratic Party headquarters, hours before Mr. Trump's supporters stormed the Capitol.
Look, you can try all you want to separate this shit. There's no separation. It's just going to keep coming up. And see, this is what's so crazy about these people's lies, is that they will try to cover their eyes and pretend and cover their ears and pretend like they didn't hear the guy's motive was the same as theirs for storming the White House. These people stormed the Capitol. These people stormed the Capitol because they believed the 2020 election was rigged. These people threatened Mike Pence, a Republican, Nancy Pelosi, a Democrat. These people had a violent insurrection attempt. They hurt and harmed and maimed police officers in a violent event. And they're trying to explain it away like it didn't even happen.
Ago.
But every time someone tries to look at that date, all they will do is find connection pieces.
And now he's in custody. In a courtroom on Friday, Cole, wearing a prison jumpsuit, pledged to answer all questions honestly. A person familiar with the matter told NBC News that Cole is cooperating with law enforcement after they surrounded his family home on a quiet Virginia street this week. According to the criminal complaint, Cole purchased multiple items consistent with the components that were used to manufacture the pipe bombs, gathered over a period of years, including white kitchen-style timers, galvanized pipe, end caps.
Somebody said the Capitol is the people's house. Is the White House the people's house? Is the White House the people's house?
And 9-volt battery connectors. Investigators traced Cole's purchases among tens of thousands of items sold over that time period. Records show Cole's phone pinged several times at key locations, matching the path of the bomber.
I mean, he's not charged with insurrection either. Somebody said they weren't charged. Nobody was charged with insurrection. Yeah, including Cole. He wasn't either. He wasn't charged with insurrection.
Captured on video from 7:39 to 8:24.
He was just charged with planting some bombs. Okay, the other people were just charged with all kinds of other shit. Okay, what is this? You know,
PM. FBI Director Kash Patel.
They wanted to overthrow the election. Okay, did they not? That was their confessed. I mean, that's public information.
Saying they brought in fresh eyes to re-examine the case.
Deputy Director Bongino led the charge and said, "We are going to look at every single piece of evidence again."
Now, Laura, those
says the guy who said who said the FBI director has the list of the Epstein files. That's who that is that just said that. Were you going to trust Kash Patel? Are you going to trust what Kash Patel says? I mean, you know, it's okay with me if you do.
bombs planted by Cole did not detonate, and authorities did not provide a motive. He will remain behind bars.
The bomb did not detonate, but those people did knock those police upside their motherfucking head.
Until a detention hearing on December 15th.
Hey, thanks for watching.
There you go. I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Every day they talk about this whole case.
We have been following as
this is more Fox News. Every day they talk. Oh no, this is the other Fox News. Something now. Every day they talk about this case. You're gonna have to watch these people knock police upside their motherfucking head in front of the Capitol, and they're gonna try to explain it away like they different from the guy. Every day you're gonna hear them saying, "Yeah, he thought the the 2020 election was overturned. And you're going to be like, and so did these people here. Every day, every fucking day. They're Trump. He was a Trump supporter. Every day you're going to hear that. And so were they. Every day. Then you know what you're going to hear? Finally, what's going to come out is he came there because Trump told him to on that day. Why did you pick that day? They're going to finally why don't they just ask him that right now? Why did you pick the 5th? What was happening on that day? What made you pick the 5th, Cole? And he going to say the same thing everybody else said. Trump told me.
The man accused
because
of
he
planting
did.
a pair of pipe bombs outside the headquarters of the Republican and Democratic National.
Trump told me. He said everybody should come down there. He said you was going to lose your country if you don't fight. Isn't that what he fucking said? I mean, come on. What you talking about? They had that shit set up weeks before they were spreading this whole thing on these web social media sites. What do you call Reddit and all these other right wing little sites and groups and shit like that? Weeks and weeks before that day, they were spreading. You ain't gonna have a country. Come down there. Something's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna be the last day. We're gonna get them. All kinds of messages that allude to violence gonna happen that day. All kinds of thousands and thousands and thousands of messages. So many people heard it and came. Yeah, and came. That's what happened. And so did Cole.
Parties in D.C. reportedly.
You don't want Cole on your side? What's wrong with Cole? What's wrong with what Cole believed? Anything wrong? Okay, MAGA people. Anything wrong with Cole's beliefs? What was wrong with his belief? What was Cole wrong about? Was he wrong about the election being overthrown? Was Cole wrong for using violence, for attempting to use violence? Was he wrong for supporting Trump? Is it okay to use violence? Is it okay to use violence against police officers when you don't get your way? Is it okay to use violence against elected officials when you don't get your way? Put a 1 in the chat if it's okay to use violence against elected officials if you don't get your way. Is it okay to threaten them with violence? Is it okay to use violence? Put a 1 in the chat. Oh, you see these? Oh, you see them all. Oh, now they just disappearing and shit. Oh no, we not for violence. No. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You ain't fooling nobody now. You're fucking for, ain't nobody asking about the Democrats. Are you for violence? Are you for violence? Are you for threatening violence on elected officials when you don't get your way? Put a 1 in the chat if you are. That's all. I mean, and now let's go look at those January 6 tapes.
Fast during an hours-long interview with investigators. During Friday's initial court appearance for Brian Cole, a federal prosecutor explained that law enforcement spoke with the 30-year-old suspect for more than 4 hours with different sources there.
I'm surprised he's going to stay alive because he's going to be honest. He's going to be honest. He's going to tell them all everything. And I'm pretty sure Trump don't want that.
Telling the Associated Press the Virginia man confessed to the crime. Those sources claiming that Cole indicated he believed the 2020 election was stolen from President Trump.
Just like everybody in front of the Capitol building, even the people that came there with their guns, even the people that planned and had the stashes of guns, even the people that knocked the police upside the head that day. Yes, and even the people that threatened the life of Nancy Pelosi and threatened the life of Mike Pence. All of them believe the same thing, just like Cole. They are a lot like Cole.
Expressed that he supports the former and now current president. I do want to note.
Just a lot like Cole. They support what the fuck? What did they just say? Hold on.
That Cole indicated he believed the 2020 election was stolen from President Trump and expressed that he supports the former and now current president.
Just like Cole. Those people that ran into the Capitol are just like Cole. They supported the former and now current president. And so does everybody on Fox News. And everybody on Fox News support all those people that rioted, that kicked those buildings, they hurt those police officers, just like Cole.
I do want to note this is coming from the Associated Press and Fox News, but the details not confirmed by either the prosecution or the defense. We also know from that hearing that a plea was not entered for Cole, and the judge ordered that he remain jailed, due back in court on December 15th for a detention hearing. Cole's defense attorney did not comment on the charges after the hearing. Bob Barnard, over with our Fox 5 DC team, was in the courtroom.
Yeah, you know, he didn't enter a plea, so he's waiting for a plea deal. He's waiting for a plea deal. He's waiting for Trump and company to offer him one of them Ghislaine Maxwell plea deals, a deal to not talk. Please don't talk anymore. Please. Please. And we'll make sure you get out of jail before you're dead. Like, that's what they're going to do. They're going to offer him a plea deal. Because if they don't offer him a plea deal, he's going to talk more than they want him to talk.
Filed this report.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's wise of him to not offer a plea deal, because you see what happened. You know, you see how these people play. I mean, don't accept any don't plead guilty to any charges. Wait till they come to you with the plea deal, because they're coming with him to the plea deal. They're coming to him with a plea deal.
Several members of his family were in court, didn't wish to speak to us afterward.
He's got the right words. He agrees that the election was fraudulent. The 2020 election. That's what Trump believes. Yeah, he's a Trump supporter. Yeah. Trump believed that all the people that raided the Capitol were good people. They hurt police. This guy ain't hurt nobody. Why shouldn't he get a plea deal? Why? Why not? He didn't bring a gun. Did he bring a automatic weapon? Did he bring a weapon used in war down to the Capitol? What did he do? Anybody get hurt?
Some of them cried when
they're going to offer him a plea deal.
Brian was led into the courtroom.
Because if they take his ass into a trial and all that and all this stuff, he's going to become a disgruntled MAGA person. And then he's going to start flipping the script and shouldn't be like, I was there because Trump told me to be. That's exactly what they don't want him to say.
At the end of the hearing, several yelled out, "We love you, Brian, and we're here for you." Prosecutors in court said the 30-year-old Woodbridge, Virginia bail bondsman spoke to investigators for more than 4 hours after his arrest Thursday. Fox News is reporting Cole admitted he placed the 2 pipe bombs outside the Capitol Hill offices of the Democratic and Republican National Committee headquarters the night of January 5th, 2021. That this is him caught in the act on camera, and that he was upset with the results of the 2020 presidential election, which was to be certified by Congress the next day, January 6, 2021, which has many wondering whether Cole is setting himself up for a pardon, considering the president pardoned hundreds of his supporters who were arrested or convicted for the...
Oh, you mean I'm not the only person that's thinking this? Wait a second. Did you just hear? I'm not the only person thinking this. Look at this. Listen to what they just said. This shit is crazy. They say the same damn thing I just said. Look at these. Look at these animals. Look at these goddamn animals. Look at this shit. I wish I had the soundtrack to the Planet of the Apes right now. Look at this bullshit. Look at this and listen to what they say after.
Which has many wondering whether Cole is setting himself up for a pardon, considering the president pardoned hundreds of his supporters who were arrested or convicted for the January 6th riots.
Yo, I'm sorry, but this is the same goddamn thing. It's true. This is everything over and over again. They always try. What, are these people dumb? They literally try to just find a way to make it seem like it's not Trump's fault. And every fucking time it becomes obvious that it's his fucking fault. I mean, he can't get a break. Trump can't get a break, and he shouldn't get a break.
By Congress the next day, when he is him caught in the act on camera, and that he was upset with the results of the 2020 presidential election, which was to be certified by Congress the next day, January 6, 2021.
So he believed exactly what everybody right here in this picture believed. His motives are the same motives that they had, the same exact motives.
which has many wondering whether Cole is setting himself up for a pardon, considering the president pardoned hundreds of his supporters who were arrested or convicted for the January 6th riots.
The president certainly pardoned a lot of people who were involved in the actual January 6th takeover of the Capitol, which some would argue was far more serious than what this gentleman did.
Hello? The guy didn't hurt anybody. I mean, look, it's just very simple. The dude doesn't have a criminal record. Most of those people that went down in front of the fucking Capitol had criminal records. They had criminal records before they went there. This dude ain't got no criminal record. He might even be autistic. This is what people are already saying. These dumbass MAGA people are saying that. It's some excuse. He's autistic. Okay, really? Okay, is he autistic? Okay, but he know how to make a bomb. That's what I'm thinking. And get his ass down there to blow somebody up. But okay, he's going to use that too. He's autistic. But the fact of the matter is that he doesn't have a criminal record, not known for violence. And he believed exactly the same thing that those people that went down there that do have criminal records and committed violent acts. They followed through with their violent acts. I mean, this is Washington, D.C. This is still a federal court, but it's still Washington, D.C. I mean, you know, it's listen. This guy is going to talk. This guy is going to talk. He's going to say more. He's going to say more. He is. He won't be in jail as long as you think. He won't be in jail as long as you think. And Trump has more of an incentive to pardon him or to give him a plea bargain for even less years to keep his ass shut up. That's what's going on here.
The FBI says Brian Cole purchased the ingredients for the pipe bombs at local Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart stores, that his car was captured by a license plate reader on Capitol Hill the night of January 5th, and that his cell phone was also traced to the two locations repeatedly that night.
And certainly one of the biggest and most important aspects of these.
No, I don't know if he's going to get a pardon. Trump be pardoning all kinds of shit. But I know one thing for sure. That this guy is looking for a pardon. He believes he can get a pardon. And here's the reason why. Because he hasn't ever committed a violent act before. Plenty of those people, you have to think about arguing this in a court. Plenty of those people that went down on January 6th had already violent offenses. This guy had none. Those people on January 6th in front of the Capitol, they physically harmed people, police. This guy didn't harm anybody. So you're going to have to litigate that. And you know what that means? He's not going to jail for the rest of his life because he didn't hurt anybody, number one. And number two is he will eventually be talking and telling everything. It's in Trump's interest to make sure he gets a plea deal at the very least. It's in his interest. And whether Trump pardons him or not, I don't know. But hey, why would you say Trump ain't going to pardon him? Who hasn't been pardoned by Trump? Who hasn't been? I mean, shit. What are you talking about? Trump pardoned anybody, you know? It's up to him. You don't know. Trump was in a meeting in the White House calling Mondami his best friend, and that broke your little maggots' hearts. You didn't expect that, did you? Nope. You had no idea why that happened. That just came out of left field, and you were like, what the fuck? You were calling him a communist, calling him a Arab, calling him a dirty Muslim, calling him all kinds of stuff. And then Trump just went and turned his back on all of y'all and was like, hey, Mondami, you my best friend. I mean, you don't know what Trump is going to do. But I know one thing for sure is this DOJ is very likely going to give him all this bullshit. They always like to beat their chest in public. They likely going to give him a plea deal, like a serious plea deal, because this guy's never committed harm to anybody ever in his life. So there it is.
The investigation, which is still ongoing, I'm sure, even though they have the alleged perpetrator, is did he act alone? Did he have help? Did somebody give him a lift? Did somebody help him assemble the ingredients to manufacture a bomb? Did he do it in conjunction with other individuals who may have been present on January 6th?
Brian Cole Jr. is facing
some very goddamn pertinent questions right there. These are logical questions. Of course, Trump and his administration have zero interest in answering any of those questions. This will not be the part that they will want to willingly investigate. Let's hear that again.
Did he have help? Did somebody give him a lift? Did somebody help him assemble the ingredients to manufacture a bomb? Did he do it in conjunction with other individuals who may have been present on January 6th?
All you need is the conjunction part. That's all you need is the conjunction part. And, you know, all the other things, yeah, that would be great to find out. But just the mere fact that he did it in conjunction, that was in his mind, that he knew other people would go down there, and that's why he went. Just that alone is enough, to be honest with you. But, yeah. But, of course, you know, maggot people, a lot of them are fucking bigots, so they don't like the fact that this guy just happened to be black. If he was a white guy, what would they be saying? Let me know. If this guy was white, what do you think these people would be saying? What do you think they would say about him, the MAGA people? I mean, would they have a different twist on this story and shit all of a sudden? Would it sound different? Because right now it sounds like they don't have nothing to do with him at all. No, nothing to do with me. He said he was voting for Trump. No, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I voted for Trump. He said he got screwed on 2020 election. No, that ain't got nothing to do with me, but I said it too. I mean, they're like making it seem like the dude have nothing to do with them and shit. I'm like, but if his skin color was different, would they be like, yeah, fuck it. He believed, let's defend him. He didn't do, somebody made him do it. It had to be the leftist Democrats that made him do it. Maybe that will be their story.
Brian Cole Jr. is facing
he's for Antifa.
2 federal
But here they just like, let him hang.
Charges transporting the explosives with the intent to kill somebody or destroy something and attempted malicious destruction. His family has hired their own lawyer who comes from Atlanta. He told me he's building a team to represent Cole, who is due back in court here December 15th.
Hey, do you think he'll get any MAGA money for his defense? You think he'll get any MAGA money? Anybody with MAGA, would you support him? Would you support him? I mean, would you support him? I don't know. Why not? You supported the January 6th people. Why wouldn't you support him? They hurt people. He didn't. A lot of them were criminal felons already before they went down there, rapists and everything else. This guy wasn't. Hasn't hurt a fly.
And that was Bob Barnard. He is with our Fox 5 DC team. He was there in the courtroom gathering all of the latest. Now, the arrest on Thursday morning came nearly 5...
Right. MAGA only support rapists and shit and fucking felons. They don't support this guy. He never been charged with anything before. Not one sex allegation, not nothing. So they don't support him. I get it.
After the incident that the FBI says...
Had he raped somebody, they would be all sending his ass a cash out. You know what I'm saying?
...was stopped, but could have been lethal if the pipe bombs had exploded. They released all of this surveillance video here rather quickly, hoping someone could help identify the person. FBI Director Kash Patel and U.S. Attorney General...
No, they draw the line with non-rapists. You're a non-rapist, they draw the line there. No. Got nothing to do with that. No.
A judge has ordered the man accused of placing the 2021 Capitol Hill pipe bombs to remain in jail pending future hearings in this high-profile case. Brian Cole faced the judge for the first time on Friday. CBS News broke the news of Cole's arrest Thursday morning. Authorities had been searching for a suspect for nearly 5 years. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarlane is in Washington with what we're learning about this high-profile case.
Brian Cole's Friday court hearing was brief, just minutes. Cole has hired an attorney and will remain in jail pending a hearing in about 2 weeks. But CBS News has learned Cole has been speaking with investigators for hours already. Multiple sources tell us investigators believe Cole is a Trump supporter. And
I mean, that's the number one reason why they're going to give him a plea deal, because he's cooperating too. I mean, how many are for Cole getting a plea deal? Put a 1 in the chat if you're for him getting a plea deal for cooperating with the federal government. Put a 2 in the chat if you're not for him getting a plea deal for cooperation with the federal government. He's cooperating, so should he get a plea deal? Yeah, hundreds of police officers were injured on, you know what I'm saying, on January 6th. But these people don't give a fuck about that. These MAGA people don't give a damn about that. This guy didn't hurt anybody. On top of that, he's not a rapist and he's not a felon before this event. Plenty of those goddamn MAGA people that were down there in January 6th, and they're like, we don't support that type. We don't support him. He's too bad for us. Bad company. Do you support? Do you support? I can't hang out with him. No. He wants to kill people with bombs. I only want to hang him and shoot him in the head. You know what I'm saying? He wants to. He's way. Oh, what the fuck is the problem? I don't get it. You know, I really don't get it. I'm just saying the math ain't mathing. Look, should he get a plea deal for cooperating with the federal government as he's doing right now? Yes or no? I mean, come on. I'm telling you, this guy's going to get a plea deal. He's going to get a plea deal. It don't matter what you think. He's going to get a plea deal because he has never been convicted of a crime in his life, let alone a violent crime. Not rape. Now a crime with a weapon. Nothing. He didn't even hurt anybody on January 6th. You know. You see how these people are? But you okay with the January 6th people getting plea deals? You okay with them getting pardoned? I mean, was it okay with them getting pardoned? Okay. You know, this shit is just, I'm serious. A lot of these people are okay with that. They were okay with MAGA, with the Jan 6 people getting a pardon. But these same people that were okay with them getting a pardon, this guy shouldn't get a plea deal for cooperating. Okay. All right. I hear you.
The person who placed two potentially.
I mean, I already know you fucking hypocrites, so.
Deadly pipe bombs on Capitol Hill January 5th, 2021, the night before the U.S. Capitol insurrection. The Department of Justice is still not answering questions about Cole's suspected motive or what connection, if any, he had with the riot by Trump supporters that injured more than 140 police.
Listen, there's no way they are escaping this fact. And this may explain why Pam Bondi and them all came out early to be like, to have their little talking points together and shit, even though that shit didn't come off that well. But there's really no way you can separate this from everybody else. It is going, see what's going to happen is that this administration may not want to admit and they may not want to submit evidence that connects him to everyone else. But the reality is that when it's over, it will be connected to everybody else because it's so obvious. It's so obvious, His motivations were the same, and he's been on the same sites communicating with people and getting his information. And he heard it from Trump, and he heard it from the same people that were Trump's echo chamber, and he believed it just like the people that showed up to Jan 6. It's just that simple in front of the Capitol and hurt those hundreds of police. It's the same reasoning behind it. It's no different.
The bombs diverted officers when they were discovered at the very moment the mob breached the Capitol grounds. Court filings in the case say investigators linked Cole to the bombs through. The bombs diverted officers when they were discovered at the very moment the mob breached the Capitol grounds. Officers when they were discovered at the very moment, or what connection, if any, he had with the riot by Trump supporters that injured more than 140 police. The bombs diverted officers when they were discovered at the very moment the mob breached the Capitol grounds. When they were supporters that injured more than 140 police. The bombs diverted officers when they were discovered at the very moment the mob breached the Capitol grounds. Court filings in the case say investigators linked Cole to the bombs.
I mean, he might even be a patsy. He might even be a patsy, to be honest. I mean, it sounds... some of this stuff is starting to sound a little familiar. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, but he might, I mean, I'm not saying he didn't make these bombs, but, the mere fact that people put out there that he's autistic and all of this stuff, I mean, it just kind of makes you wonder how easily he could be used or manipulated, and, yeah.
The Capitol. Bombs diverted officers when they were discovered at the very moment the mob breached the Capitol grounds. Court filings in the case say investigators linked Cole to the bombs through cell phone records, which allegedly place him near the scene January 5th, 2021. The department also alleges purchase and credit card records show Cole bought some of the bomb components or components similar to those found in the bomb.
You know, you can if you can convince somebody to do something like this through being their friend, if they're like a loner or outsider, and then you befriend them, you know what I mean? And people don't know. Family doesn't know that he has this contact with somebody, maybe somebody on the net, maybe somebody that became his friend when he's a weirdo or a dork and nobody else wants to be his friend, something like that. You know what I'm saying? And then, but that person who was his friend is really somebody setting him up, you know, to be a patsy or something like that. I mean, I don't know, but, you know, it seems kind of, you know, it seems like it's plausible. You know what I mean? Just this idea that they say he's autistic, even though I don't buy that, but that would just kind of mean like he's a loner, strange person, doesn't have many friends. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I think that's kind of what they were hinting at. And people that are isolated and don't have a lot of contact aren't really accepted openly. And, you know, they're easy to manipulate when you pretend you're their friend. You know what I'm saying? Like
in 2019. Cole faces 2 federal charges.
Kind of like a kid's brain.
For unlawful explosives and has not yet entered a plea to the charge or made a statement about the case.
Yeah, that's in his best interest, not making any type of yeah, let's see here. The neighbor said something. I don't know what he said.
Around 8:30 I heard a siren, which is not abnormal to hear from here, but then I heard what sounded like a voice over a loudspeaker. So I came outside to just hear what I could hear. Saw flashing lights over there, and so I moved over to in between these houses and could see that there were 2 green Humvee-style looking vehicles out in front of the house over here with a bunch of soldier-looking guys, maybe SWAT team, people in camouflage with automatic rifles aimed at the house.
Yeah, okay. That's all they had about that dude? That's all they had about that dude?
Around 8:30 I heard siren.
Okay, that's weird.
A judge has ordered the man accused.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought he had more on that, actually. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah. I thought they had more. Well, there's likely going to be more coming out about this guy. You know, now listen, I just want to make something very clear. Me, myself, I believe in voting. I believe in gun rights, but I'm a pretty intelligent person. So I don't believe, you know, intelligent people need guns to resolve their issues, you know, even if you're dealing with some ignorant people, because I believe that, you know, you can pretty much understand why people cling to their guns to solve problems or cling to violence to solve problems. That's not so difficult to figure out how they behave, how they react, the things that set them off. You know what I mean? They're kind of pretty easy to figure out. You see what I mean? So I don't believe you need guns to solve typical problems, everyday problems, you know. Yeah, I'm not really with that. I've never had to do that, you know. And in fact, you know, you could have a gun and somebody can take your own fucking gun from you if you're not cautious or careful or aware and shoot you with it, right? But this kind of thing, I don't believe it's intelligent to cling on to your gun rights, and you don't support universal health care. I think that's a sign of ignorance. I believe, you know, clinging on to your gun rights and not supporting universal education is pretty much rules for the ignorant, because after all, why would you want everybody in a country to have access to guns without education and health care if you don't want them to die? You see what I'm saying? Or be poor and die and kill each other. You know, that's what ultimately it seems like to me. So as an American citizen, you know, I've traveled a lot of places. And the places I've traveled, I never needed a gun. I never took a gun to Colombia. I never took a gun to Canada. I never took a gun to any other place that I've ever been, Europe, or any other place. I never had to take a gun. People are pretty much good people if you go there with respect. Even in the U.S., I've traveled around a lot of places. Never went to New York with a gun. You know what I'm saying? Never went down south with a gun. Never went to the West Coast with a gun. Never went to the Midwest with a gun. Never had to do that. Although I believe in gun rights. I believe in gun rights. But I also believe in keeping it real with people 100%. You see what I mean? I also believe in not bullshitting people when I travel and when I go around. You see what I'm saying? And I pretty much believe that people are good when you give them a little bit of respect. But when you show some respect, you see what I mean? Yeah, it's kind of like a universal thing. But I don't believe what's going on here with this, the way this situation is being handled in the U.S. I believe it's a clear sign that people have forgotten what being reasonable is in 2025. You know, the U.S. is the richest country to have ever existed in humanity. It's had the strongest military power to ever exist in humanity. And yet people are still acting like goddamn fools. You know, people are still, you know, running around doing this insurrection shit, trying to fucking invade the Capitol, threatening government, you know, threatening motherfucking members of, you know, and at the same time, you're not telling the people to vote. It's 1/3 of the voting population in the United States of America didn't even vote in the last presidential election. 80 million Americans said fuck their voting rights. That's basically the same amount that voted for Trump. And that's the same amount that voted for Kamala Harris. So you give up your voting rights, but you believe in the gun. But the gun helped you get your voting rights, but you give your voting rights up. You believe in your gun rights, but you don't believe in the richest country that's ever existed in the world, in universal health care and universal education. Yet every other Western country has universal health care and universal education. I mean, you know, make this make sense. You support the people that invaded the Capitol, that inflicted violence against 100 police officers, but you don't support the bomber who wanted to do the same thing, who's never hurt anybody, by the way. And he did it for the same reasons that you did, that you would, the January 6th people in front of the Capitol were down there. Same reasoning, nothing different, not one fucking thing different. It's called being hypocrites, basically. And nobody else can save you from that. You know, kicking out all the immigrants ain't going to make you not be a hypocrite. You're still going to be a hypocrite after. You're still going to be a person with no health care after. You're still going to be a person without access to education, without you having to spend the rest of your life paying for it. While everybody else outside of the U.S. in the Western country is going to have universal health care, is going to have universal education, and won't be spending the rest of their life paying for it. While they have a union job, while they have a fair rent, you know, a cost of living. I mean, you know, these people don't have guns. People aren't running around with guns in Denmark. People are voting. Higher percentage of voters outside of the United States and every other Western nation. So I really do think, you know, this is going to have to be something that you're not going to use your gun for, to get out of. And that you're going to have to vote your way out of this. You're going to have to, no matter if you're Republican or Democrat, encourage more people to vote. Because right now, 1/3 of your population doesn't give a fuck who the president is. Yeah. That's about as low as it gets in the Democratic world. You know what I'm saying? That's about as low as it gets. And you can try to pretend like all this other shit is going to make you cover up the fact that you are not believing in democracy so much. You know, these January 6 people didn't believe in democracy. This guy that went out with the pipe bomb doesn't believe in democracy. The people that believe the election was rigged don't believe in democracy. Kash Patel doesn't believe in democracy. I mean, you can't even believe in anything they say because they just fucking lie to you. Bambino doesn't believe in democracy. You know, he'll tell you all that shit he said before he was the deputy of the FBI. He just said it because he was getting paid. Yo, what the fuck? Who says that? Why do you want an unethical motherfucker who just says anything because he was being paid to be your FBI director? Whatever happened to your ethics and morals? You don't want an FBI director with ethics and morals and principles? Yo, what the fuck? No, you don't. A lot of you don't. You just care whether he agrees with you or not. You don't give a fuck if he's a lying motherfucker. You don't give a damn if Pam Bondi lied to your ass. You don't give a damn if Kash Patel lied to your ass. I mean, you know, right now Americans are looking pretty sad, man. Y'all looking really, and I'm just happy as an American that I made some different choices in my life, because a lot of you hold the rest of the United States fucking down. I'm just telling you. And thank God you're not a burden on my fucking shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, I'm really happy more than ever for my choices in life, more than I've ever been in my life actually watching this, you know. And most people that know me know that I've been a very proud American, because when you travel outside of the country, you learn why to be proud. You learn, because a lot of people actually look up to the United States at one point. All that shit's been thrown down the garbage with Donald Trump. All of it. It's been thrown down the garbage. Right now, the United States of America is the laughing stock of the fucking world, because you have a leader who is incompetent, who is alleged to be a rapist of little girls, who is alleged to be on videotape with little girls, who really is probably got dementia, Alzheimer's, probably, and has a cabinet that is so chicken shit they won't even remove him because they know nobody else wants their ass, even in the Republican Party. I mean, that's how bad things are. The U.S. economy has gone down. The dollar is worth less since January, far less. 6%. 6% down. That means your buying power is 6% less than it was in January. Unemployment rates are up. Billionaires are doing better than ever. Goddamn, what's that country? Argentina's doing better than ever, thanks to the United States of America taxpayers. Doing better than ever, Argentina. How's that beef going? Have you had an Argentina steak yet? Probably not. Farmers pissed off. You don't give a fuck about that, though. Prices for food, prices for utilities, all up. You don't give a fuck about that, though, you maggots. You pieces of shit. You retards. Excuse me, because there are some, I don't mean really, but you guys, even the people with mental issues, are calling these motherfuckers retards. Like, seriously. You know, it's that bad. It's that bad. You don't stand up for women. You want women to all live in the house and not have an education. That's what you want. That's really what you want. You're fixated with transsexuals instead of being fixated with health care. You can't afford health care and you're proud. Your parents are getting kicked off health care and you're proud. Your sisters and your brothers and your cousins are getting kicked off of health care and you're proud. I mean, damn, that's pathetic. That's pathetic. I mean, proud for all the wrong shit. Got nothing to show for your pride. Nothing to show for your pride. I mean, it would be different if your dollar was up, then you'd have something to show for your pride. Your wages were up, then you have something to show for your pride. You had more access to health care, then you have something to show for your pride. Had more access to education, then you have something to show for your pride. But you don't. You don't. I mean, you're literally losing. You're literally losing. And you're proud. That goes to show you, there's something called stupid pride. And Americans have a whole fucking lot of it. Stupid pride. Proud for all the wrong goddamn reasons. Proud for being broke. I mean, you know how many of you maggots are fucking poor? Do you realize that? I'm sure you do. How many of you can afford a fucking dentist? I mean, seriously. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Yeah, it's not looking good. And it's too all I can say is that I'm just really happy I live outside of the US right now. I'm really happy I live in a country that believes in democracy. I'm really happy that I believe in a country that believes in basics. The basics, because you don't have to have a limousine. You don't have to have a fancy car to have a lot of good things. You don't. You can actually have less than a Benz or a limousine and have a lot of other good stuff. You see what I mean? You can actually have a job that pays a fair wage. You can actually have that. I know that because I have one. You can actually have universal health care. I know that because I have it. You can actually have universal education. I know that because I have it. It's just a fact. It's not even just me either. It's loads of people that got it. And you can have it in the same country where you take on average home after you pay your taxes and your utilities $1,000 more in your pocket every month than the average American citizen. And yet you're still fucking proud. Well, enjoy that pride. I'll enjoy my sensibility. See ya.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and I feel we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in a way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear, but they won't cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversion, every tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversion, every tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Can you feel it? Nothing can save ya, cause this is the season of funky behavior. I came to relax your mind, you can recline. On what? On this here rhyme. I like the style, I'm staying for a while. It helps me show cats that I'm versatile. I'll touch your dial, turn your frown to a smile. I'll make you feel like you're having a child. So relax and open up, child. I'm about to make you walk what? Pimp style or pimped out style. You don't understand the logic. See, if you don't have it all, I'll take a deposit. I got shit for you, it's alright indeed. It's like going to the garden and planting the seed. It might tickle for a second, but it won't bleed. So just relax, just hear a dope ride. Your vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax, and just hear a dope ride. Your vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Your entertainment, at the same time, edutainment. In other words, you could call it bent. What I'm saying is that I'm here at your service. It's hard work, but then again, I deserve this. I'm helping people enjoy their spare time. I'm like an instructor when I'm doing my rhyme. Relax and just hit the dope track. It's really not all that, it's not like a gag. We like that when everything is relaxed and chill. You don't have to get fucked up or take pills, cause I like being myself, it feels good. Yo, it makes my meals taste good. 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 So just relax. It's your dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax and hear a dope ride. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. inflate. Just take the buzz, it's my twaza kid, fuck the shade. And take it to a lower level, and dig a ditch for the devil. Got some more kids and pass the shovel. Dig a hole, take them on a spiritual roll. Lyrics unfold, either that or unroll the scroll. Episodes keep reoccurring and stifling people's vision get blurring. Their hearts start murmuring. I'm about 5 times iller than a Sherman. Introspection is God's gift to the miracle. I freak material, lamb's milk without the cereal. When MCs say your booty, they mean venereal. Your fake material hip-hop killers, they more faking than fucking Michael Jackson and Thriller. The status of a hoe, Quanto Costa. They wanna know how much it costs, kid. I bet for keep tell So me just relax, and just hear and don't cry. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax, and just hear and don't cry. The vibes is real nice, everything is real fat. You don't have to do work, we do that. It's the type of place where you can wear your hat. Just relax.